welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
I'm Chad McCanna.
And this is the final episode for E3 2015.
Thank God.
I know, it's time to put this out behind the shed and shoot it.
That's a little harsh, considering we had a universally positive, well, mostly universally positive E3. I think the positive eclipsed the negative, but
Hey,
I wouldn't want to.
You don't think that family had a positive time with Old Yeller? Eventually, it ends.
Yeah, but I would never want to drag Rare Replay out behind the shed and shoot it.
No. Of course not. No, we actually. I mean, E3 2015 is over, but what we've learned from it is going to be affecting DK Vine and the Kongversation for many months and years to come. We have plenty to discuss now, and it's never been a better time to join DK Vine.
Oh, come on.
What? What?
No, it's been a while since we've done our due diligence.
It is.
So it feels false to me. But
well, look, next week we're going to be resuming our normal routine again. So I think we need to plug the hotline, do all the usual stuff to kind of get people back in that mindset.
We do have quite a backlog of listener calls, so I think that next week we might have to do a catch-up on that.
Well, we also have some Kevin Callahan news to discuss.
No, we don't.
Oh, yes, we do.
We really don't.
Oh, we do.
So if you want to call the Kongversation, dial... Should I do the jingle? It's been a while.
Yeah, let's do the jingle.
You know, I don't think my McCartney impression is all the way back.
Yeah, how's your voice, Chad?
Well, let's judge it
This
based...
is the story of E3 2015 is your voice.
Oh, hello, just gonna play... Almost. I'm getting there.
Maybe if you randomly go out on a boat and start talking about your life, your voice will recover.
What the fuck was up with that in the anthology? Like half of McCartney's, he's either around a campfire or inexplicably driving a boat.
It's like Ringo was always just sitting by the pool.
Yeah.
George was just in his garden, and then Paul was like on a boat. Paul had the action shots. He was on a boat. he was camping. He was at a concert. You know, just like okay, we get it, Paul. You're the most successful one.
I would like. I don't know if he wanted to show off how successful he was, or if that's just part of his weird artistic genius process. He's like, oh yeah, you know, I think you get the best anecdotes if I'm out on the open sea. You know.
Yeah, but I think John Lennon stayed true to form. He was the most avant-garde. He just stayed in that urn the whole time.
Was he cremated?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, I didn't know if we knew what actually happened to the corpse of Jonathan Lennon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, at any rate, judging by my due,
Yoko Ono turned his skin into a bag and had stage performances inside of it.
Jesus. Wow. So she said she wrote in tiny letters and put a ladder leading to it, pasted on the ceiling. Yes to corpse mutilation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's such a positive message. It's no wonder he fell in love with her.
Oh, I fucking hate knowing the kind of person John Lennon was to Yoko, and Cynthia for that matter, I just really hate the whitewashing that goes on.
Okay, but you do understand, like I don't know if you could say he atoned for that, but he grew from that in the last 5 years of his life. He actually owned up to that and made peace with that.
All right. Well, anyway, let me see if I can do our jingle justice.
Okay.
If you want to call the Kongversation, it's 1281410 and a word.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that word, by the way, is Kong, K-O-N-G,
K-O-N-G.
or 5664. So, to put it all together, because we have to unpack and then repackage our jingle, call the show at 1-281-410-5664.
This show is not a model for efficiency, is it?
Not in any way, considering we spent 3 fucking hours talking about Rare, which even Craig Duncan told us. He said, I love Rare, but this is a bit excessive.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the guy who flew back from L.A. and was at the office the next day, but come on, guys.
Sorry, Craig. Please don't bill us for all the lost hours of productivity that arose from listening to this nonsense.
Yeah, you guys didn't have to listen to it.
Although I think it's amazing that anyone at Rare is hearing our jabbers and thinking they're worthwhile.
Well, you don't know if they think it's worthwhile. You know they listen to it, but
that's right. That might have been the one and only episode.
Yeah, hence why I started with a 3-minute diatribe about John Lennon's skin. So,
so anyway, call us at the aforesung number, and we'll try and get to any and all calls that we have in the backlog next week.
All right, sounds good. Don't forget, as I alluded to earlier, there's never been a better time to join the DK Vine forum at dkvine.com/forum. It's Kongversation. You can catch us in so many ways. We're on iTunes. We're
on Stitcher.
Stitcher now, yes. YouTube. You can just listen to the MP3 on DK Vine if you're a weirdo. And also rate us on iTunes if you're listening to us on iTunes, because that apparently matters.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually know that it matters. I hear every other podcast asking for ratings, so I'm really a born follower.
Yeah. That's why we host a 2 to 3 hour show about the Donkey Kong universe every week, because we are just
Crystal Archives did it first, and we're following their lead.
Oh, it must be dark times at the Crystal Archives right now.
Oh, poor guy.
Like, this is his buyout era.
They just want to keep rebooting the same game over and over. There's no love for Crystal.
No love for Crystal. But she is a DK Vine Hall of Famer now.
That's true. And also Crystal Archives, I checked them the other day. They're actually doing Star Fox Zero news, so good for them.
Okay, well, we covered Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, so it's not like, it's without precedent.
Yeah. Find us not only the Kongversation, but we're all over social media for such as it is.
Such
Twitter.
as it is, like, what did they redefine what social media means?
No, I'm just saying, if you want to have this stuff more regularly, injected into your eyeballs and media streams in a watered down format, look to social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. Anything else? YouTube, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, well, YouTube's not social media. I guess it can be, but...
I think Joe has read some comments that would attest to the opposite.
Yeah, I guess some people, their whole DK Vine experiences through YouTube. By the way, there's never been a better time to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we are actually having more content other than just Kongversation uploads.
Mm-hmm. And there's never been a better time to trust us when we say there's never been a better time to do anything.
Exactly. It's a good time for DK Vine. The future's so bright. Well, I don't actually wear sunglasses because I think they make me look douchey. So I'm not going to say the future's so bright I've got to wear shades, but the future's so bright I'm going to get cataracts.
Right. So another bit of transactional diligence that we want to touch on. It's been a while since we talked about Yooka-Laylee, and of course their Kickstarter ended while we were at E3, but if you're interested in contributing, they're still giving backer financial level access to the game if you donate via PayPal.
You can even get a T-shirt, or other goodies. So
yeah, so they do have a reward structure still intact. If you happen to miss their extremely long Kickstarter, go to platonicgames.com/PayPal and check that out.
Extremely long and well publicized. So the only way you shouldn't have donated is if you were broke. And also, we also wanted to. On the show, add some clarification to our comments about the David Wise tidbit we brought up last week.
Right.
We kind of just dropped it casually in the middle of the show because we were kind of just recapping our entire week at E3, and this is something we learned at E3.
It was all relatively blurred lines throughout. The placement of this rumor could have made it sound like we learned it from a source at Rare or a source at Platonic, which is not the case.
Yeah, we were talking about the composers at Rare. We went from Beanland to Kirkhope, and then it was like, oh yeah, let's talk about David Wise, not thinking what that placement inferred. We were approached by a source at E3, Dave Throat, because we'll leave the source anonymous, but Dave Throat, yes, wanted us to know that David Wise is rumored to be working on a title for Nintendo. So,
and by the way, this is a person who in the past has been reliable, but we have no way to know if the wool is being pulled over our eyes. Take it for what it's worth. But what we essentially did on the show was we took that tidbit and which is unsubstantiated, but we have reason to believe that it's based in fact. And then we applied things that we do know are factual and sort of constructed a narrative.
Exactly. So, it's kind of leaked outside the DK Vine bubble, as these things tend to do. If it's big enough news, somebody's going to hear about it and take it to the forums, and then somebody's going to be trolling the forums for news on their website. We just wanted to clarify. We did not get it from anybody at Rare or Platonic. We wouldn't, even if they had told us such juicy news, and they told us some juicy stuff that we would never share. So.
Yeah, but it was mostly about the Tip Top Suite and Grunny's Revenge.
Well, we shared the hell out of that, though.
Of course. Well, not going to keep that tidbit to ourselves.
I mean, we got lots more info about the Tip Top Suite we can never share. Trust me, this would break the internet.
Yeah, no. Peter Hentz just dished it all about the Tip Top Suite.
Yeah.
I'm shocked he still has a job. There was some earth-shattering shit about the Tip Top Suite in Spiller's Harbor that we heard.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. We're not going to say who our source is, but just call him Dave Throat.
Yeah, and yeah. So please, unfortunately, I doubt this recontextualization is going to get anywhere as far as the original thing we reported, but just know it wasn't a Rare person, it wasn't a Platonic person. We apologize for any confusion that arose from the placement in the show.
Yeah, and also that shows where our mind was at, that we kind of just dropped this earth-shattering David Wise news that would be a huge deal any other week. It's
not even earth-shattering. It really,
No. Any other week, it would have been like monumental news.
Not really, though, but that's the thing. It's like I didn't even really think that much of it when we did hear it. It's like extra longtime Nintendo composer composes for Nintendo. Yeah. Read all about it.
A long time. Yeah, I mean, but we know he's not doing Star Fox, so it's like, what else has he ever done for Nintendo? Oh yeah, right, Donkey Kong.
Yeah, well, anyway, we'll be discussing that in the future, but please take that information in its actual context.
Yes.
Don't just run rampant stacking rumors upon rumors upon rumors.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay. So that being said, like I'm sort of trepidatious about us now entering into the whole realm of quote unquote media, because that means it's all we have to do is make retractions and clarifications from here on out, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. We shoot from the hip here on the Kongversation. We don't think ahead. We don't think ahead. Pew, pew, pew. We don't think ahead. We just say things. And, we didn't realize we could destroy people's careers by doing so.
Jesus Christ. Apologies for any confusion that arose out of that.
Apologies to David Wise. He was probably checking his Rolodex, because I'm sure he still has a Rolodex.
Yeah, he has an assistant transcribe RSS feeds and Google alerts into a Rolodex.
He was like, who the fuck leaked this?
We don't even know if it's legitimate. We just have reason to believe that the person we heard it from knows what they're talking about.
Exactly, yeah. It could be the Olympic athlete David Wise, who's composing music for Nintendo.
Wouldn't it be great if Nintendo accidentally wrote a contract and sent it to that guy? And he's like, yeah, I guess why not? I mean, I'm really good at the high jump, but sure.
Yeah, he's just blowing into a jug.
That's what the Donkey Kong Country HD collection is going to be, just jug music.
Donkey Kong Country classics, yeah.
Yeah. So that's is that the due diligence that we have to get through at this point?
We're done with it.
All right. So for this episode, wrapping it up at long last, we're going to bring in some of our extended staff, our support structure at E3.
Right, because we usually have, the way the past 2 seasons have operated is E3 episodes, we bring in staff members to join in the fun. But the problem this year is that we didn't really realize that coordinating out in Los Angeles and the time difference we would be experiencing would make that coordination nearly impossible.
Yeah. It was, and we were just inundated with exhaustion and information and shit we had to do. I had this whole system set up where I was going to send content in the Skype staff chat to have them distribute, and it just became a thing where I didn't know when anyone was awake. I didn't know when I was awake half the time. So
yeah.
I just,
you were propped up on drugs and adrenaline, so it was...
And not fun drugs either. It was like Robitussin. And not fun Robitussin either. Functional Robitussin.
Oh, I was on Quaaludes. I don't know what you were doing.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I don't even know where I found Quaaludes either. Just in a gutter in Los Angeles. It had been there since the 80s. So, yeah, anyway, we had Jeff on our preview episode, so Jeff wasn't invited tonight. And,
Fuck off, Jeff.
And Joe had prior commitments, but I did record a little segment with Joe that will be dropping in later this episode, so Joe can get his thoughts in.
Ooh, did he read any YouTube comments?
I tried to pressure him to read some YouTube comments. He would not have any of it.
I've trained him well.
I know you weren't even around. I was like, finally, I get my YouTube comments read.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Not so.
So we're going to go in chronological order from the order people joined the staff, because that's really important. And we're going to start with Mr. Matt Cornah.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Matt.
I'm.
Welcome to the show. It's been a long time. When was the last episode we had you on, Matt?
It was many, many moons ago, when we were both young and free, not old like we are now.
Have you haven't quite turned 30 yet, have you?
Yeah. In fact, I'm 29 years old, Chad. Which, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot.
It sounds like precisely 29.
If you think about it, that's one less than 30.
It is.
Yeah.
You're
on the precipice of an arbitrary older age, aren't you?
And it is causing me a minor nervous breakdown, which I'm negotiating at the moment. But I think this podcast is going to help me get through it. So come on, guys, give me some joy.
All right, so let's ignore every cathartic element about the last minute and a half and talk about rare games.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well,
so what did you think about E3? What was your opinion going into it, or what were your hopes and dreams?
Well, thanks for asking, Chad. It's good. This is like an interview or something.
You're very welcome, sir.
It's like I'm on a talk show. Well, generally with these things, and I don't know if this is the same with you two, I'm guessing possibly not, on account of you're more invested in it, I suppose. But I very deliberately go into these things with utter apathy.
Really? So like DK Vine gets into this E3 mode, we get completely ridiculous, and you're just kind of joyless during the whole thing.
Hyle,
I'm a deeply joyless man, Hyle.
What if I may
Joy
ask,
doesn't
Hyle,
exist in my world.
is ridiculous about an animated series starring Ted the Boat Builder and Siegfried from Conker's Pocket Tales? I see no absurdity in that.
No, I tried to get less than 1,000 views on YouTube for animated projects that take months to animate.
Oh, it's so sad how few people have seen our Ted the Boat Builder cartoons.
It's because it stars Ted the Boat Builder. See, this is the problem. As we move forward as a website, we're going to have to keep embracing the absurd elements that we cling to, like Ted the Boat Builder and Perry the Parallel Bird. But at the same time, we also have to broaden our horizons and be more accessible. So it's a fine
We're
balance.
not going to capitulate to the mainstream. What kind of website do you think this is? Sorry, I just got a bit angry there.
No, I feel like that's our jump the shark moment.
Oh, we've already jumped the shark.
Yeah. We have waited for new sharks to evolve in the last 15 years and jumped those.
For some people, we jumped the shark when we went bash Sea of Thieves, or So
hey, to a very small contingent of people, we jumped the shark when we left GeoCities.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
1999.
I'm nostalgic for that era of the internet.
So Matt, how did this apathy serve you throughout the show?
I've been thinking I might have misrepresented myself by saying the word apathy. Maybe not so much apathy, but I don't allow myself to be upset by disappointment. Maybe that's the best.
I think that's the dictionary definition of apathy.
Okay. All right, okay, to cast your minds back, if you will, if your minds will stretch that far, to the golden summer of 2012. Do you remember it? It's good that if we had production values, we could have put a sound effect in there. But no,
it sounded like an inexplicably drowning mermaid.
How would a mermaid drown?
Hence the inexplicable.
Oh. Unless this is a mermaid who got her legs and then tried to swim and realized she never learned how to swim because she was a mermaid.
I wonder why Ariel never got the bends when she all of a sudden became a human and then had to travel from the seafloor to the top of the ocean.
I think it's time for a gritty remake of that movie.
Yeah.
So, Matt.
Hey. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Doing okay. Just trying to ask you about apathy.
Yeah, anyway, about 2012. Now, 2012 is an E3 that you two will remember as being a shit E3.
Objectively shit.
Yeah, in that there was fucking nothing of any significance whatsoever announced by anyone.
That was one of the worst E3s. I don't know, was that worse than 2011 or...
No, 2012, the only... was that the one where the only thing of note that we got was Donkey Kong Crash Course in Nintendo Land?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I look back on that and I think, that was shit, but I quite enjoyed it at the time because I just revelled in the absolute absurdity of giving sort of high-profile coverage to an event that had absolutely no significance whatsoever. So there was kind of, from my point of view, there was a joy to be had in the stupidity of it.
And were you hoping for the same sort of joy?
I'm always hoping for some form of joy. Usually that comes through some kind of genital stimulation. But, in many ways, that's what this year's E3 was spent doing. But
yeah, I think genital stimulation is the great equalizer, really.
Yeah. It's a good point, and I don't think there's a single sporting referee who would disagree with you on that point.
It was also worth me interrupting just to get that in.
Yeah. So I suppose my point is there was no possibility of me being upset by this year's E3, but the fact that it was actually quite a good one is quite difficult to cope with from the point of view of a cynical, bitter, disillusioned man such as myself.
All right, well let's start with Rare. They had a fairly amazing showing this year, I think, by any traditional Rare fan standard. So
yeah, there was something I wanted to bring up very specifically, actually, Chad. Now, Sea of Thieves, which has made the record books. I don't know if Guinness are interested in recording this as quickest game to be registered official DKU status between announcement and designation.
Right.
Yeah.
We should write them a letter. Get them to send someone over.
Dear Ian Guinness.
I'm sure they wouldn't. I'm sure they would do it because they're so drunk,
Yes, put that on the records. Yeah.
We really shouldn't have opened a brewery to supplement our record book business.
But yeah, it was that quick because I think one of the reasons is we were out there to kind of grease the wheels.
Well, yeah, but the wheels have been somewhat ungreased afterwards.
There's been some doubt thrown on the wheels, yes.
Yeah, the filthy doubt that has been thrown on the wheels is, the thing that sort of solidified it for a lot of us was what's his face thingy from off of Rare. What's his name? Please tell me what his name is now.
Gregory Mails.
Was it Greg? Okay.
Yeah, it was Greg. Yeah.
I wanted to say Greg, but I thought if I said it was wrong, then...
I don't know if his name is actually Gregory, but I just wanted to sound formal.
It's Gregingston. Gregingston Smythe.
Damn it! It's always Gregory or Gregingston.
Yeah, the thing that solidified it for a lot of us was that he changed his Twitter picture to a seemingly new, never-before-seen render of Captain Black Eye from off of Banjo-Tooie.
And what we didn't notice at the time was that this seemingly new render was completely hairless.
Well, I mean, some people like it smooth. I don't know what I mean by that, but I just said it anyway.
He could have alopecia. We don't know.
I mean, waxing on the high seas, it cuts down on wind resistance.
We gotta get the maximum amount of knots out of our ship. Yeah, that knots is a measure of speed on the high seas.
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow.
Also, it could be an element of the wooden planks that make up the ship.
Yep. So we're laughing and learning in this week's podcast.
Mainly.
Mainly learning, yeah.
But it's the attention has since been called to that render, of course, that it is just a prototype render of some sort from Project Dream that Greg Mayles what's the word?
Used?
Well, coincidentally used at the same time. Suspiciously coincidentally used at the same time. I'm getting lost in my own sentence because I can't think of the words I need to use.
Let's just keep tacking adverbs onto it until we find our way back home.
Adverbial adverbs are my favourite.
I had verbally adverbs.
Ironically, adverbial is an adjective. That is ironic.
So, do you think though that black eye confirmation and slight deconfirmation contributed at all to your enthusiasm about the game, or did you just see like, hey, rare pirate game that I can play with my friends, I want this thing?
That's a great point. I mean, what exactly? There's a point of logic to be contended with here. Why would the inclusion or non-inclusion of a fictional pirate drunk affect my enjoyment of some other fictional pirates? But I suppose the reason I bring it up on this show specifically is because I'm speaking to the two people who have assured the world at large that it is a DKU game.
Well, look, Greg Mayles said that his dream has set sail once again, and that he also told...
His being Captain Black Eye.
Yes. And, well, I'm sure it's Greg Mayles' dream, too, to make a pirate game.
Yeah.
But he also told us to our face that it wouldn't be a rare game without references, after we asked him about Captain Black Eye. So...
Yeah. And I heard the verbal ellipsis, which, as we all know from a Rare employee, means I know something I'm not telling.
So, yeah, look, we're declaring it DKU because there's no way it's not going to be.
Yeah, of course. There's at some point there will be something in there, even if it's just Mr. Ribbs' bones.
Cool.
Sort of yeah.
I just wanted to get clarification on to what extent the certainty of that DKU declaration was.
And
I thought the best way to do that would be in podcast form.
Well, I'd say at this point it's a hell of a lot more certain than ukulele, but we've already said we're going to cover ukulele as if it was DKU, so we're certainly going to cover Sea of Thieves, and we're pretty sure... I would honestly be shocked if there wasn't some sort of reference that we could extrapolate to make it DKU.
DK rappers again.
The last two Connect sports games were DKU, so I think a game about pirates sailing the tropics has a pretty damn good shot.
Right. So, are you? So, what about beyond the Black Eye thing? Piqued your interest about Sea of Thieves?
Well, man, I mean, there's not a lot to go on, but I mean, it looks nice. The music's nice. I like the Wonkaloid way that all the people look. I also like the word Wonkaloid, so I use that.
Yeah, I like how it's more stylized than their avatars. It's definitely in keeping with kind of the general aesthetic of the game itself.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of something because you've talked at length about it already, and I'm trying to think of something interesting to say that you've not already touched upon. That's the reason. It's not because I'm just an idiot who hasn't thought for even a second about what he's going to say next. But it's something you frequently said before about Rare's approaches that they don't go the way of other companies in that they don't go for ultra realism and sort of depressing normality.
Yeah, which is often very depressing.
It's very stylized, and I, just from the brief glimpses we've got, I dig it. It's cool. Now you see what I did there is because I couldn't think of something interesting to say, I shouted.
Yeah, so. I also liked how you putting on a silly voice undercut any assumption of sincerity that the listener might have made. So you don't, as a person, you don't have to commit to any actual opinions.
I am completely unaccountable for anything.
So
I'm completely off the hook. Nothing.
Of course, we also saw Rare Replay. So what do you reckon there?
Well, man, that is amazing, though, isn't it? In fact, just as we're recording this, literally mere minutes before we started recording, we saw the Jet Force Gemini shots, didn't we?
Oh God, yes.
And but I know Cameron's on later, so I imagine he'll want to go into more detail about that. So I don't want to.
Is Cameron a
I
big
don't want to
Jet
step
Forcer?
on his cock. Oh, I meant toes. I meant to say toes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, toes.
I always get my idioms.
He does ejaculate out of his feet, though. So
He does. He's a right weirdo, that Reigle.
it's an understandable mistake.
He's got 10 cocks.
He's giving Octocock a run for his money.
Good old Octocock, you remember him? Yeah.
Of course. How can I forget Octocock? In fact, in the Sea of Thieves trailer, I think there was this tribal painting warning sailors about the dangers of Octocock.
Does it count as DKU if a member of the DK Vine staff appears in a game?
Well, we have established by way of our TED Talks cartoons that Ted and Siegfried are familiar with DK Vine.
Yeah. I don't know about that. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a stretch, Chad.
Okay, well, maybe we'll just have to get Grant Kirkhope to admit that. Well, I'm trying to see if we can remember how we had the thing with the DK rappers.
Oh, I remember.
If we could get him to admit that George Andreas and Chris Sutherland were actual characters, then we could get Ukulele, which will also feature a rap, to be DKU by virtue of that. Perhaps the key still lies with Grant Kirkhope.
I fucking love that, by the way. But I noticed when you did ask him about that, he didn't respond.
No, he didn't.
Because I think somewhere deep inside he sensed, there's going to be implications if I respond to this.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to think long and hard about this one.
I wonder if there's actually a Nintendo legal team that would try and claim those rappers as intellectual property.
The DK rappers for Smash 5.
We actually asked Grant Kirkhope when we had dinner with him about the DK rappers, and he didn't answer us there either. He just stared at us.
I don't remember that interaction whatsoever.
I may have hallucinated it because of all the Quaaludes I was on.
So Matt, what do you think out of the 30 titles is your favorite one, or the one you're most enthusiastic about?
Oh, hey, well, a lot of the Spectrum games, obviously, I've never played before, so I don't fucking know what that's all about. I know you're a fan of Snake Rattle and Roll.
Yeah. That. Well, so as a kid, my parents, they thought video games were kind of evil.
Yeah, mine too.
I wrote an essay.
To be fair, they are,
to convince them to allow me to use my lawn mowing money to purchase a Game Boy, and the first game that I got was Snake Rattle and Sneaky Snakes.
Have you still got that lawn mowing job?
Yeah, it's putting my wife through school.
Yeah, nice.
It's good though. There's not a lot of lawns in New York City, but I make it work.
Get some all mowed.
So Sneaky Snakes I discovered was sort of a lesser port of Snake Rattle and Roll, which the isometric thing and just all of it. I love it. It's impossibly hard.
So wait. When that announcer on the Rare Replay trailer said, "You never forget your first game," he was actually for you. That was Sneaky Snakes.
Sneaky Snakes was the first game that Sneaky Snakes, Tetris, and Super Mario Land collectively are the first games I ever purchased. I would have been about 8 years old at the time. But my first game I ever played, probably Super Mario World, probably 91.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this show isn't about me.
It is partly about you. It's at least 50% about you.
Maybe 33%.
33%, yeah.
0.333333.
Sure. Well, anyway, and it's a shame. I always thought that Snake Rattle and Roll was a prequel to the popular mobile phone game Snake. But,
in this one, they rattle and roll. Only later do they learn how to calm down.
Yeah, and just sort of become lines that move around a very primitive screen.
They sure love apples, though.
Yeah. Delicious apples. Hey, but I was tantalized by your reports of the sort of intro to Rare Replay with the Muppet style thing, and it was annoying to me that you couldn't get a recording of that.
Well, it hasn't leaked yet, has it?
Well, off the show, I did a bit of research into it, and I asked around, and I found what I think is a reliable source who's given me what sounds to me like an accurate recording of the Muppet-style opening. And I know some rare employees are listening to this, so I apologise for leaking this, but I think the world needs to hear it.
Yeah, I don't want it to be another David Wise thing, but I feel like we really need to get this out there, for hook or crook.
It's an amazing song.
The world needs to hear it.
Yeah.
Rub-a-dub-a-do, rub-a-dub-a-do, rub-a-dub-a-day, it's replay. Rub-a-dub-a-day, hooray, rub-a-dub-a-day, it's replay. Rub-a-dub-a-day, oh bloody hell, look at all them games.
Thank you, Matt, for dropping that bombshell on us.
Exclusive leak there. So
God, Craig Duncan's not going to be happy about that.
No, he's steaming in his trainers if they weren't being auctioned off by that Randy pirate skeleton.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, again, great. Well, so anything else you want to say about Rare Replay, Matt, before we move on to Nintendo?
I don't know, man. I mean, what can I say that you lot didn't cover last time? It's fantastic, and I've ordered my copy.
And you at home should order your copy too, or go to Comic-Con.
It's like the people on Facebook are right when they say this has become a fucking advert. How much did Rare pay us to do this? All the £0 that they gave us to do this.
Yeah. In point of fact,
their money's worth.
we're pretty far into the negative money at this point, considering the server costs and the cost of going to E3. Yeah. We're not shilling whatsoever.
Well, we want the game to do well because we want to see more from Rare. We want Rare to be successful. That's the thing. So yes, we are going to shill for them.
But we're not blindly wanting it to do well. Yeah. If we felt like this was taking the company in a bad direction, we would probably discourage it politely.
We probably wouldn't just want to discuss it. Yes.
So yeah,
I agree with you. I'm just doing a joke thing.
Okay.
I'm doing one of my jokes.
This is the last place for that.
Right. Yeah. I was doing my...
So Nintendo. Nintendo had some games that they showed off.
Yeah, well, I mean... one thing I did want to ask you, Hyle, about is, you've played Skylanders. I know because there's video evidence of this on the http://woo.dkvine.com/YouTube. You can find it there. Of you playing Skylanders.
Yeah, but there's video evidence of Sasquatch and UFOs, and people don't believe in those.
It depends on how you define evidence.
You're speaking for just one of us there.
So yeah.
Your question being...
Sorry.
Hyle, did you actually play Skylanders, or was that
was
digital
it an
trickery?
elaborate fake? Yes.
No,
Was it a bloke in a suit? A Hyle suit?
Yeah, Neil Armstrong claims he was to the moon, so, I'm going to claim I played Skylanders, sure.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly the same situation.
Sounds all right. Now, the thing about Skylanders is, and I think I'm not alone in this, is that it's never been clear to me from watching game footage what it is. What it is.
What it is.
What is it? What is it? What? It's just stuff happening on a screen. What is it?
Hyle, can you tell at this point what it is?
It?
Well,
what is it? What do you do?
I'm really not quite clear on that myself, but
you don't even know what it is.
From what I gathered, it's kind of like a platform game that you have to scan toys into.
Very descriptive as always.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So it is a platform game then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
just genuinely not clear what is meant to be happening from watching it. It's the focus is always on, you can scan your figures in and make them in the game.
I think
there's some more.
The way that I understand it, there's a place called Skyland, and presumably the people from there are Skylanders.
Oh, that's where Scully was abducted by aliens.
Oh, yeah.
That's true, yeah. Who took her? Them! That was a Dwayne Barry reference.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, season 3.
Can't wait till we can start
2?
having season 10 discussions.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking season 10 of The X-Files. Why are people getting enthusiastic about this?
Joel McHale plays a Bill O'Reilly type.
Why are people getting enthusiastic about you? It's going to be terrible. Chris Carter's doing it. It will be terrible.
But I hope it's terrible. I hope it's god-awful. Darren Morgan's writing an episode, though, and it sounds awesome, so...
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right. Well, if Chris Carter surrounds himself with the people that actually made X-Files good, then there might be a reason to pay attention. But he has earned nothing but my disdain in his handling of the property since, let's say, 1999.
Yeah, I think Chris Carter's about to enter a renaissance.
The Carterrenaissance,
yes.
That's a brilliant pun.
Yeah. I like that, in that it makes zero sense.
just like I want to believe.
So, the only supernatural thing in the X-Files I want to believe is that Billy Connolly's rapist priest might be psychic.
He's not just a rapist priest, he's a pedophile rapist priest.
A rapist of children.
Yes.
Oh, wait. A rapist Scottish paedophile.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. It's the worst kind.
Oh, my...
Bit of Scottish racism for you there, for any of the Scottish listeners.
For our UK friends, I have some Scottish in me, so I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah. Wait, is it Billy Connolly?
Oh, Jesus. So, I think that the Skylanders, there's like a kingdom of people that all these heroes have to come in from various universal portals and save, maybe?
Stuff happens. And Donkey Kong's in it, so that's all that really matters.
Cool. I just wanted to see what you had to say about what kind of fucking game it is.
No, it was actually kind
genuinely, it's just not clear. It's never explained. It's just you scan your toys in and you can play a game of unspecified objectives.
Yeah, I think maybe story-wise it's not clear, but it seems like at least the gameplay is pretty tight.
Yeah, it was actually kind of fun to play. Like, I enjoyed it. More so than I enjoyed that Zelda game we played. So.
Well, you are pretty crap at Zelda.
No, I was crap at that game because I had to coordinate with you guys, and I'm sorry, but I just don't have any gameplay chemistry with MF Wolf.
That's true. It takes years to develop that gameplay chemistry.
He's no Elliot, that's for sure.
So, anything else that...
Do you exclusively game with people who have kind of literary surnames? Wolf, Elliot...
Hyle has been wandering the wasteland since he stopped gaming with Elliot.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't really have much to say about Skylanders, but I was curious about what it was. But I feel as though I've been enlightened.
Anything else from Nintendo? Or hey, let's throw Sony in there that piqued your interest, Matt?
I got nothing, man. I've been busy editing videos.
That's right. Matt is the driving force behind our Hall of Fame videos, and I owe him a script and a recording.
Yeah, I was gonna say where's the I can't say who it is, but where is that script?
That script is it's on my backlog of all the shit that I have not had a chance to do.
Right, but it's the next Hall of Fame video to go up.
Yeah, I got a lot of next things that got to get done, dude.
All right.
It'll be coming. It'll be coming, and I'm gonna do what I can to help Matt with the editorial
So will Billy
duties on
Connolly.
it. Okay.
He's always willing to pitch in that bill.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up that Metroid Prime thing, but I sort of think there's no point gloating.
Gloating.
Oh, you were going to gloat over the Metroid fans. Their broken dreams yet again. Although this time not our fault.
Well, I didn't realise how severe the backlash toward that game had actually been until
how
I
severe,
sort of...
Yeah, how severe has it been? Because I've sort of been off the radar of it.
If you look at it, I was looking at the Wikipedia earlier today, the critical reception has been like 90% negative.
Oh.
It's like almost universal disapproval from all corners. So it's like, it's charmingly insane. It's quite enjoyable, really.
Yeah,
but, I mean...
Reggie came out I think yesterday and had an interview where he said, "Yeah, sorry guys, it's a fun game. Just give it a chance." I don't really care.
Well, exactly, but I think you said this about it, or at least you said something akin to this. It's like if there was a Donkey Kong spin-off that was a bit weird and off the wall, probably we'd be fine with that.
And,
So I
we,
think
and
this
we have been
speaks
in
to
the past.
Exactly, and it sort of speaks to the petulance of certain kinds of gaming fans, not necessarily all Metroid fans, admittedly.
Well, at least the vocal minority.
It is odd.
Yeah, it's
So that was my. I thought I'd end
I really don't
my
want us to
segment on the
get mired
podcast
in
on a serious
Schadenfreude
note
over
to
this.
reflect.
No. I think I don't
these things
understand the
come down.
backlash, except that people like expect this very, very specific sort of game, and they're not very adventurous. That's where we've come to as fans of this industry. Is a lot of people just have very preconceived notions about what they want, and they aren't willing to try anything new.
Yeah, and that's the strange bit is that, I mean, these shows and gaming in general, but especially E3, is about showing off the new thing. But people go into it with such closed-off minds and these ideas of what they want to see, and if the new thing deviates from that old thing in their brain even slightly, they're immediately skeptical.
Although the same thing happened with us in Nuts and Bolts and Jungle Beat, and I mean, so who are we to talk?
No, we're all dicks.
Yeah. We're massive
now.
cocks.
Yep.
Everyone's terrible. Thanks for coming on, Matt. Any other final thoughts about E3?
I don't think I've expressed a single thought in the entire duration of this podcast, and I don't think now is any time to start.
Well, it was time well spent for our listeners.
Yes, thank you, Matt.
Hey, thanks for putting up with us. See you later.
Yeah, get the fuck off.
See you later.
Bye, Matt.
Let's bring on Cameron Reigle.
Oh, Mr. Cameron Reigle. He's royalty around here.
How you doing, Cameron?
Hi. I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
He's actually here. That worked. So let's discuss your E3. So you have an interesting angle in which you actually contributed some gifts for people that we met at E3.
Yeah, the map of the DKU,
Right.
Or as I've taken to calling it, the expanded world of Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
You mean the expanded dong of Donkey Kong, right?
I knew I was inviting that.
Yeah, that is pretty much my least favorite meme that's out. It
doesn't make any sense. It's so lazy. It's just...
it's lazy. Yeah. But yeah, so that was those postcards of the DK Isles were huge hits with everyone that we
the
handed
rare
them out to.
archipelago.
Okay.
Well,
I've been thinking
DK
about
Isles,
that.
The DK Isles is the territory of Donkey Kong Island, whereas the rare archipelago is everything.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that, though. Isn't, like, in my map, I'd say, like, it looks like a good 50% of that is non-rare.
Yeah, but rare fathered the whole thing, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad about that because I had heard your stories about Greg Mails trying to identify everything on there, and kind of had to sheepishly admit some of them aren't from Rare.
Yeah,
Games.
he's probably not going to get the gateway to Planet Plantain.
But I mean, to be fair, we didn't really know we'd be showing them off to Greg Mails and Robin Beanland, and so we were going into this like as Donkey Kong fans first and foremost, and then Rare kind of took us in and like nursed us, and
I had absolutely no idea that those things would end up in the hands they ended up in.
Yeah, well done. I think thank you for shooting those our way so we could do that. I think they were a huge hit. So talk to us. A bit of
talk to us. Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Come on.
Let's just jazz a little bit.
Jibber jabber.
What did you?
Yeah. Should I say how it sort of led to this?
Well, what is this? This point in your life,
or your life in general, like how your parents met and
take us
courtship
way back, Cameron.
Nah, I don't think we have enough. I don't think we have enough time for a 9-season TV series about that.
No, we'll just talk about a 9-season TV series in exhaustive detail.
But it'll be the X-Files, not How I Met Your Mother.
Right. No. So coming into Rare, anything you were hoping from, any of the crazy rumors at that point that you thought we might see? I know there was a lot of optimism for Diddy Kong Racing.
Or did you want to talk about how you conceived the map?
Or both?
I was trying to go in at like Matt, like kind of apathetic, don't expect anything, because I mean that you're not going to be disappointed if you don't expect anything. I mean, I expected to be happy with what I got, but sure, I can go into the map.
You are the Mr. Spock of DK Vine in that you're the most logical person here. You're just like, you just have this cold like science to everything you do. You're just so like laid back.
Yeah, which is nice because, as we all know, the upcoming Nick Prol is our Bones McCoy, and he just goes off the handle when he doesn't get his mint julep.
No, I shouldn't have mentioned Star Trek. I really shouldn't have.
Sorry. No, go to the map a bit. So how did you conceptualize doing that? And then, like, was its original form going to be how it appeared in postcard format, or what was the development there?
Well, like, I'll start from the beginning. The whole project started as a college assignment back several years ago. It was just make a map of something. And I had a previous assignment that was very similar where I ended up making a map of Donkey Kong Island. And I was like, I kind of already did this assignment, but I want to go further with it a little bit. So that's when I got the idea to, like, map out the surrounding area of Donkey Kong Island. I didn't go full Donkey Kong universe because I had a tight deadline. I knew I wouldn't be able to do all of that.
And the Lilat system is really far away.
Yeah, so the first iteration of the map, which some people might remember on the forum, I think I posted sometime in, like, what was it, 2012, 13? Yeah, it had, I think it was mostly Donkey Kong games. It had, I think, everything up to that point. Tropical Freeze hadn't happened yet.
I don't think it had Jungle Beat.
Up to that point, it did not have Jungle Beat. It distinctly did not. And that wasn't some sort of slight against Jungle Beat. I couldn't figure out how to arrange it on the map at that point in time.
Yeah.
Well, considering Jungle Beat didn't have a map screen, it's kind of just bullshitting it anyway.
Yeah, and that actually made it really, really fun to eventually get into. I'll get into that part of the story later. But anyway, a lot of time passed since then. It got to be when we were doing stuff for the 20th anniversary of DKC on the site, and we were trying to, as always, trying to come up with dozens upon dozens of things that maybe one or two we actually carry through on the day of the event. And I thought, well, you know, maybe I'll redraw that map. I'll add everything from every Donkey Kong game up to Tropical Freeze now, and I'll add back in the Jungle Beat things.
Did that at that point include some of the expanded things like Banjo, Conquer, Connect?
At that point it did not, but that's because I didn't hit on the idea until early November. And for a while it looked like it was going to happen, but I got to Jungle Beat, and Jungle Beat was a lot of fun, but it was also very time-consuming because it allowed you the freedom to... It was basically creating an entire video game map because it was... And Hyle and Jeff, the work on the slush fund really helped me lay that out. That was... That one corner of the map is the most collaborative thing on there. Yeah,
I really like how you arranged the faraway lands, which is what we've determined is what the Jungle Beat island is called. I like how you designed it to look like with the crest that you get from the Sacred Tree after you complete a kingdom.
And for new listeners, by the way, the Slush Fund is an ongoing series that Hyle does where he basically...
ongoing.
Yeah, Shut up, Cameron! Shut up!
Where basically starting with Mario Kart Double Dash, Hyle realized that at a certain point there was a gap in his gaming 100% completion for the DKU, so he started playing through title by title and has somewhat stagnated on Donkey Konga 2.
I've hit a bongo-sized wall.
You've been hitting that wall repeatedly for 2 years.
You know, the crazy thing is, I beat like the first Donkey Konga in 2 weeks.
Yeah, what is it? Gorilla mix mode or
Gorilla duet.
Duets. Yeah, that's what's currently holding up Hyle. But you can read his ongoing quote unquote chronicle at our DK Vine forum.
And I think what's holding that up, if I'm not mistaken, is that it's a co-op mode, and the difficult part is you really can't find another person who wants to play Donkey Konga 2.
You can do it as a single player, but the game penalizes you if you do. So you have to be perfection at it. And since it's the hardest mode and the timing is already off because the game sucks, it's almost impossible.
Yep. So that's what Hyle's been spending his free time doing, playing Donkey Konga 2.
Yep.
But at one point, of course, Jungle Beat was slush funded, and a lot of the theories about the geography were laid out.
Yeah.
Right, and I think the Crest idea, I can't remember if that was a Jeff idea or if me and him both sort of, strange minds think alike on the same thing, but it just really worked out, and I'm kind of proud of that one section of the map. The downside of that was it basically ate up that entire month of me trying to do anything. Around the same period of time, I got a new job, and I started drawing the Tropical Freeze Islands, and it hit me. Retro really detailed those.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It was absurdly difficult to lay those out, because it's essentially more detail per world than the entirety of DK64's world map.
Now, I'm curious. Certain elements of this map were meant to be timeless, but you did sort of timestamp DK Island by including the mechanical crocodile Isle, which has never been seen in proximity of the island since. And of course, the original crocodile Isle, if we're just pulling from all eras, might have been the more iconic one. I'm curious what the thought process was doing the mechanical one.
The general idea was that I would go with the most recent version of any island that had appeared, unless it wasn't recognizable. And apologies to Retro Studios, you made a beautiful Donkey Kong Island, but I just remember thinking, like, anybody I've shown this map to who has either never played a Donkey Kong game or has played rare games, but they aren't quite consciously aware of the company's history and such. The Donkey Kong Island in the middle was kind of like the uniting, oh, hey, that looks kind of like Donkey Kong. Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was kind of a necessary caveat, and I did what I tried to frame it as is the volcano is still there, so it is this was sort of my imagining of what would the Kongs do if they had enough downtime to recarve the entire face onto the island again.
And you even took some elements from Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah, the cave eye. Yeah, It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense unless the cave's very, very shallow with the volcano there. But when I saw that in Donkey Kong Game Boy Advance, I just loved that idea so much. That was a really clever visual thing, and I wanted to put that in.
So those stalactites hanging down from his brow, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I liked how you had the Donkey Kong Land worlds on there, using what we know from Donkey Konga 2 to make them offshore islands, which is a really nice...
Right. And I know that you actually helped me out on those. They're actually reversed from my initial drawing of the map, specifically because you said you pictured them the other way around.
Well, it's because in Donkey Konga 2, you actually see a city and a mountain island in the background, so it has to be Big Ape City and Monkey Mountains.
Has to be.
Well, I mean, come on. It works so well, Chad.
Yeah, and Donkey Konga 2, of course, is a paragon of continuity.
Look, I'm not saying they planned it, but I'm saying it fell right into our lap, and we would be idiotic not to use it.
Now,
also, the alternative is it's on the back of the island, and I don't get to draw it.
Yeah, right.
So one thing that's been asked is, of course, there's very recognizable Willow Woods, the Conquer area, Isle of Hags. Off of Isle of Hags on Hailfire Peaks, there's a little landmass that people have been asking about. Are you willing to disclose what that is? Or do you want people to keep thinking about it?
You know what? Maybe I should. Well, I'll at least say this: it's not from a DKU game. It's the only territory on that map not from a DKU game or represented in a DKU game.
All right. Well, let's see if the forum can figure it out from that. I think it's really clever what you did right there, knowing what it is.
Oh,
course.
I know. It's Mypos, where Balki's from.
Don't be ridiculous, Hyle.
But the crazy thing is, after the 20th anniversary, the map just kind of sat around because I was working. I was kind of dejected that I didn't finish it in time for the big event. That's why I put out like a 20th anniversary Donkey Kong doodle just to say I did something. Mm-hmm. That we launched the Tumblr account with.
Oh yeah, no, that was good.
But anyway, months and months later, I'm still sitting on it. You guys, I think Chad, you had messaged me like, "Don't tell anyone," but me and Hyle are going to E3. Mm-hmm. And I think it took until 3 weeks until the actual date of the show, and it hit on me like, I have this project on the back burner. This would be the best chance to have anybody like this. There would never be a better time to actually undertake this project and get it done.
Never been a better time to finish this project.
Right, and even though I'm giving myself 3 weeks to do this. This is stupid. It's insane, and because of events in my life, I basically ended up with only 2 weeks to do it. Anyway, the bottom line is essentially everything on that map, except for the Donkey Kong game islands and the Jungle Beat Island, was done in a span of about a little under 2 weeks.
It's incredibly impressive what you pulled together, especially like the geography of the Isle of Hags. I mean,
I love Pantsland is there.
Yeah, and
that one took about 3/4 of that time. Pantsland, you just had to get the color outside the lines exactly right.
Now, obviously, it should be pointed out this map cannot be to scale because that would be ridiculous. But
it's not to scale. It's not representative of location exactly. It would be more of a vertical map if it was, and everything would be about the size of a dime.
But as a general ambiguous representation of basically our hobby, not even our hobby at this point, our sick obsession. It's beautiful, and I'm actually going to frame one of them and hang it above my desk because I love it so much.
Yeah, that's mainly what it was. Is do I want to be slavishly accurate, or do I want this to look good for hanging up somewhere?
No, if you want accuracy, you need my MS Paint map where I make dots on a world map.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That thing was such an asset, and I think we got pretty close to, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they match up, like in general relative position.
I think I said like.
I think the only one we kind of butt heads on is the Isle of Hags.
Yeah, and Pantsland we've discussed. Isn't Pantsland actually somewhere in Wales? So
I thought it was it Cornwall, right?
Yeah, isn't Cornwall in Wales? You should have asked Joe when he was on the show with Hyle, because Joe's from Wales. Or I could just go to Google right now. Hey Google, where is Cornwall? Cornwall, Wikipedia. It is okay. Cornish. It's in England. Nope. It's not Wales. Nope. It's south of Wales. Damn. Okay, so Cornwall, though, is where Pantsland is, apparently. Because that makes a lot of sense.
And I think that flag is approximately somewhere around Cornwall. I tried to get it the best I could.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's about 80% accurate to what we... To both of our visions. So, that's as close as we're ever going to get for something we're completely making up.
And I basically had to... twist your wrist a little bit for Ghoulhaven, I think.
Yeah, it is what it is. I was like, I can't be a stick in the mud about this.
Just give it up, Russell. Ghoulhaven is by Showdown Town.
No, but it was moved there by log.
Fine.
Right, that's the compromise we hit on. It was probably somewhere in England, and then in 2008, log moved the part of the continent and smacked it in the middle of the Isle of Hags.
It was like the Lost Island. There was just a huge gaping hole in the ground, and then all of a sudden, boom.
The log likes asset reuse.
Well, he is a game developer after all. So let's
But
talk
yeah,
about...
it was thrilling to have that in front of so many people, and thank you guys for taking that.
No, thank you for giving us something to take. That was honestly, it was an amazing icebreaker, and we're glad that your talented work was able to get out into the world a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, part of my problem is I'm very shy about any of my work. I feel like the dog who shit on the rug and wants to desperately hope you don't notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you want us to mash your face into your artwork to teach you a lesson. Good
yes,
art.
that's
Good
exactly
art, Cameron.
what I'm saying.
Good art.
Yeah.
So tell us about about E3 itself.
Yeah. What were your opinions on Rare?
Enough dick stroking about the map.
Well, there's never enough dick stroking on the conversation. Well, but that's usually what we wait till after we're done recording.
I would like to clarify my feet were actually 20 submarines with squirt bottles taped to them.
Oh, you were listening earlier.
Yeah. If I'm not getting a job drawing at a game company, I'm certainly not getting one now.
Well, there might be a very certain industry in which you could get a job with feet like that. Let's talk Rare. Let's talk Nintendo. What did you think about what we saw?
Well, I guess we start with Rare. That logo, my God.
Yeah. As somebody who's very into design, Cameron, what do you like it?
I think it's the best possible reinterpretation they could have done to that logo.
Yeah.
It brings back the blue. It evokes the sort of old monolith without, like, I think the monolith may have caused like some problems laying it out because it's like a trapezoid. But it's basically a really good mix of new and old. It's shiny.
They have a pretty good like two-tone variation. They've got like they're able to interpret it in several different ways, but still...
Right. I've seen the black and gray one they have on the Sea of Thieves official website down at the bottom, and the new Sea of Thieves variant of it, and which incidentally is on Captain Bones' business card, which just hit Twitter not that long ago.
God, I want one of those cards so bad.
I know.
Yeah.
I should have given him our business card, Chad.
Well, yeah, I don't think he had these things made up yet, but I think Captain Bones would have taken it back to England.
I also like how the new logo is like a clean vector shape. I think that was really a clever thing. It's kind of got like the modern aesthetic of like flat color, but it still keeps it three-dimensional like the old one, which people appreciate.
Yeah, I love that it is a clean vector shape, but unlike the previous logo, it doesn't stop there. The sort of Kinect era one was kind of just a modern-looking minimalist kind of series of vectors.
So does this mean the era of minimalism is over and we're finally getting into like design again and things that like pop?
I think the Windows 8 Metro UI might have been the nail in the coffin for that whole aesthetic.
Okay. Good, because I'm a child of the 90s and I like things loud and extreme.
Yes, we want to play them in that same fashion.
Exactly.
Okay, so fan of the logo. What about the games?
Rare Replay. I mean, there's not really much else to say, but I love the presentation, the direction they went with that, the sort of like traveling theater kind of aesthetic to it, and the like all the posters and such with the like sideshow attractions with the Rare characters. I thought that was a really smart way to do it.
Yeah, because it's like their whole cast of characters is kind of just a motley crew of freaks. So if you're thinking of this as like a 1920s freak show, it actually makes a lot of logistical sense.
Yeah.
So, any games in particular on Rare Replay that you're looking forward to?
I know Matt mentioned Jet Force Gemini. Sorry to say, Matt, you could have gone on what I'm sure would have been a hilarious rant.
About what? I love Jet Force Gemini. I'll never go on a rant of that wank.
Wait, was that Matt or Ted the Boat Builder?
Matt. That was Matt. He just came back to say a thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was Helmost.
Yeah. So, at any rate, because bringing Helmost on would require production value to tap into Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, because he also requires the full makeup, and he's a prima donna even when podcasting.
Yeah, so let's not worry about bringing Helmost in, just because of the logistical overhead.
Absolutely.
Cameron,
and I love the animated borders. I looked over the screenshot gallery just to see what they did with those borders, and they're really pretty nice.
Yeah. So, presentation aside, though, you mentioned Jet Force in the context of Matt, but for you, are there any new games that you haven't, or any games you haven't tried yet that you're looking forward to? Like, what's piquing your interest?
Well, that's just it. I haven't really given Jet Force the time of day, and I'm really excited to actually sit down and play that, because it seems like just something that was right up my alley that I happened to miss. And we just saw the reveal that it's they've redid the widescreen mode for true widescreen.
Yeah,
which was a huge problem for me with the DK64 re-release, because I was really excited to play that in widescreen, but they didn't really do anything to fix that.
Yeah, nor did they do anything to fix the issue that you face when trying to control a camera with an incredibly sensitive C-stick instead of actual buttons. There was honestly the N64 ports of those titles are kind of shit, or at least
I think they hit the middle ground between what Sony does with their PS1 releases and what Xbox does with the XBLA remakes, where like on Sony's PS1 classics, like they will not allow any sort of alteration to the original code whatsoever. It's supposed to run exactly as it ran on the PlayStation. If you have to replace a copyright date or something's expired, you're in trouble. You can't put the game up there as a classic.
Wow. Just for that kind of legal stuff, that would invalidate a game entirely.
Right. Whereas, and then you have the XBLA remakes, which will take out copyright logos, up-res some textures, make the whole thing true widescreen, make it 1080p, and then I think Nintendo's efforts are just kind of drop it in an emulator, change a few things that might get us sued or hospitalize people, and then charge what is it, a fourth of Rare Replay's price for one game.
Yeah. Well, and they sort of do a one-size-fits-all port job, so those extra features are, it's like customizing the N64 controls, but they're not taking into account the fact that the controller is very different, and there's no digital precision with that right control stick. So I had an incredibly difficult time playing Donkey Kong 64 just because of the control issues on the Wii U, but I don't know that they've addressed controls on Jet Force. There were two control modes. One of them was a more first-person style, where the camera would make your character transparent, and you use the control stick to aim and the C buttons to move forward, back, and then strafe left and right. And then there was the traditional control scheme, which auto-aimed, and you moved with a control stick. I don't know if they're going to add a second stick control for that first mode, but oh god, that would, on top of the 1080p widescreen, that would just
It's Rare Replay is just, if any, it seems like if any one aspect of that game, if it was just a documentary DVD of unused Rare content, if it was just a collection of their Xbox 360 games, if it was just a collection of the Spectrum through the N64 games, I would pay upwards of $30 for any one part of Rare Replay, and I still haven't gotten over the price point for that game.
Yeah. It is insane, and I still thankfully the volume of people naysaying it has died down a bit.
Well, I think people are pretty much on board with Rare Replay. You still get comments you see on like Rare's Facebook and their Twitter about how come this isn't in it? You guys suck. Oh, yeah.
That is exactly how those people sound.
It is. I don't know what's wrong with them. I think they've been huffing paint fumes, and that's why they're so negative towards Rare Replay. But
at this point, you have to try to find negative things to say.
Why isn't ukulele in Rare Replay?
That's a new one. There are several reasons why ukulele, on top of it being in a pre-alpha state. Yeah, it's people. It's like you said, Cameron, that you have to go out of your way to find things to complain about. Or did you say that, or did Hyle?
I think it was implied by both of us through
this
a
whole conversation is just blurring together
through a shared telepathic link. We all
Hyle was around longer, and therefore everything he did is better. And there's no such thing as bringing in new talented people to a well-established group of accomplished individuals.
Talking about DK Vine. Oh no, DK Vine's neither talented nor well-established. we have a modicum of talent, and we are somewhat established. But we're sort of in the middle of a branding crisis, so yeah, I don't think either of those things apply.
Well, that's only because you didn't take my submission for the logo.
I don't want to hear anything else about the logo, Cameron.
Well, we'll have to share that on the forum after this episode.
Which one was that? Oh, I know the one that you're talking about. The one that's derivative of another logo?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll share that one. How about this? Once we fully launch the new aesthetic, which is, it's based on what we have on YouTube and on Twitter.
It's not on YouTube yet. Not in the banner. It's on our
on our videos.
Yeah. Because Facebook is rocking the current site aesthetic. Meanwhile, you've gone ahead and updated the social media avenues that you're in charge of, and your wife's in charge of.
You, Hyle, are the Facebook guy, and if you want me to update the aesthetics, you can ask.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how to get Donkey Kong's ass in there. That's first and foremost important to the Facebook page.
Oh, so. I would never leave out Donkey Kong's gaping ass.
I'm thinking, all of the affiliation logos that make up like part of the new aesthetic. I want them to be shooting out of Donkey Kong's ass.
Oh boy, we'll come up with something for Facebook.
This is why I left the Tumblr with its own aesthetics. It will be perpetually out of date.
Right. Although you did have to theme it around famous Banjo-Kazooie character Tumblr.
Who wouldn't?
I'm just shocked that I thought Tumblr would be a lock for the Hall of Fame this year because of that, and he got no votes.
2016. Let's see what happens.
All right.
It'll be Perry the Parallel Bird and Tumblr.
Yeah.
So, Cameron, how about Nintendo? Or actually, you didn't even talk about Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves. Can we talk about again how gorgeous that game is? I know we've gone over it before, but oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, nobody does water better than Rare, so
that water. I mean, we've already seen really good water in a Rare game. The water in Star Fox Adventures for the time was good, and just recently, like if you've seen footage of Connect Sports Rivals, the water in that game is drop dead gorgeous.
Oh, on the wave racing missions, it's amazing.
Right, and I have to give it to Rare, whether they're going semi-realistic or really cartoony like Ghoulies, or they've always been really, really good at color, like really good at never going too dull.
Yeah. Yes, it's like what they take what seems to be the mainstream AAA apocalyptic aesthetic impulse, and just they take that and ratchet the saturation up.
Like I always say this, but look at Star Fox Adventures and then look at Twilight Princess, or really anything of that breed on the GameCube, and you just see a stunning difference with how much. And Sea of Thieves just bleeds color.
Well, here's the thing.
To be fair though, Wind Waker was also of that vein.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Like I don't understand why more companies don't do that, because if you actually go outside and look around, there's color in the world. Like, it's not just all drab, like, beige versions of the rainbow. It's actually vibrant, and
Well, that's because the nukes haven't fallen yet.
oh, yeah, that's true. We don't have anybody to gun down on the sidewalk in New York City.
It'll all be dust and disappointment.
Ain't like it was before. Our boy's coming up cold.
Also, we know there's not going to be any zombies.
That's true. Yes. so that means no zombie pirates from Grabbed by the Ghoulies, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Although we do know we have names now for, thanks to Captain Bones, the 3 skeletons from the trailer have been named.
Oh yeah, named to what? Craig, Joe, and Greg.
Yep, Craig, Greg, and Joe.
which
and that's official. That's canon. Thanks, Captain Bones. Look what you did.
Is that any relation to Greg the Grim Reaper, I wonder?
Perhaps. See, I was actually thinking about this last...
I predicted you would try to use this as one of your flimsy DKU justifications.
No, not that. I was just thinking about the implications for our MySQL database for the characters.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to refer to... We have an entry for Greg, of course, but we're going to have Greg, parentheses, pirate skeleton.
I thought you were going to try to justify that this was the same Greg as the Grim
As
Reaper.
Greg? No. This Greg seems like he loves cats.
But yeah, I like that. Speaking of the zombie pirates, I like in Sea of Thieves. This is Rare getting to make an entire game about pirates after we've had so many cool pirate elements in all of their games that were generally like the shining moments of those games. Or this is the first time since DKC2 where it's been saturated in pirates the entire way through. And that was the game where you got crazy things like you got the pirate amusement park, you got the pirate flying airship, you got you got the pirates in a beehive.
Yeah, these things that you would never in a million years associate with pirates. Although you take archetype plus pirate, and it always results in something greater than the sum of those parts.
Exactly. It's not the pirate archetype within another game that has to hit all the pirate marks. It's a pirate game that has to hit the pirate marks and then can hit whatever else it wants.
Yeah. I mean, because there are no pirate elements in the Bramble stages, but you can sort of still feel that tonally dissonant, ominous, foreboding sense, because they're very difficult. But Dave Wise's music is so...
and it's just the whole package of the game. You're on a pirate island. You're, it's like a high seas adventure, a swashbuckling tale.
Right. And I'm going back to the colors again, but it looks so whimsical. It's not dreary. It's not dim. This is being a pirate, and it is fun.
I didn't play Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 4 or 5 or... The one with the pirates.
I didn't either. If that sounded like a slight.
No. I'm just curious, since I haven't played it. I haven't even really seen that many gameplay videos of it. Is it kind of that dreary, desaturated thing, or does it also embrace the brightly lit high seas sort of style? Do we know?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. The sky looks pretty blue.
Okay.
In the box art that I've seen, and that's about as much as I know about that game.
Well, people always come to the Kongversation for late breaking visual descriptions of games from a year and a half ago.
Yeah, maybe I'll write a 10-part series on Tumblr about Assassin's Creed box art merits.
I would actually love to see that.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Somehow it's going to be DKU. All right, so let's talk Nintendo, if we must.
If you want to, I mean, it's
anything.
Even Reggie basically admitted they had kind of a poor showing this year. So, and I don't even think they had a poor showing, but it was just there's no real enthusiasm around like what they showed off.
Well, he literally opened the show by teasing next year's show.
Yeah, and well, we'll have to talk about this in the Kevin Callahan episode. But there are rumors that are breaking about the NX coming out next year. So
that's not a real rumor.
It was followed up on a little bit today elsewhere. So
okay,
it could be happening.
Do the math.
Hashtag I believe in Kevin Callahan.
No, you shouldn't believe it. Hashtag go away, Kevin Callahan.
No, Cameron's right. Do the math, Chad. Do the math.
The math being 1E3 plus 0 DKR equals Kevin Callahan is probably a fraud. But
I've done that math.
I thought you guys were better at math than me, but apparently I'm the true mathematician here.
So did anything stand out to you from Nintendo?
Well, I don't want to be down on Nintendo because I think Jeff has made this point before. There wasn't a megaton announcement out of Nintendo, but it wasn't this wasn't the Wii Music year where you just sort of sat there and groaned the whole time.
No, we got something Donkey Kong, so that prevented us from getting too drunk.
Yeah, the Skylander Superchargers. I really like that that's a thing.
It's a really interesting use of Amiibo, and I think the precedent that it sets by teaming up with their primary competition is actually very smart on both groups' part.
It shows that Nintendo's not really competition to anybody. They're just kind of their own thing, you know? It's just like Phil Spencer said. He doesn't view them as competition, so...
Right.
Oh my god, it's such a
it's such a fan pleasing thing to say, but it's also kind of a dick thing.
It kind of is. It's kind of like a glorious dick power move.
But it's true. It's true.
They're not really competition. I know.
Phil Spencer is a master of telling me what I want to hear, and he seems to be utterly sincere about it, and that's really refreshing after so many years we spent being cynical.
Yeah. No, he is Saint Phil Spencer for a reason. No. What I love about Skylanders, and I know I've said this before, is that they picked Donkey Kong, which is my criteria for loving anything with Nintendo. But no. Look at like the Mario Kart 8 DLC, and it was like Zelda and Animal Crossing, and like meanwhile Diddy's just sitting on the sidelines.
Don't forget Dry Bowser.
Yeah. So it's like you would think that a Skylanders Nintendo crossover, it would be Mario, Link. That's it. The fact that they went a little bit off the beaten path and chose Donkey Kong and Bowser, and it was brought up on the forum and elsewhere. This is a good point. They chose them because they're animalistic and they tie in with the designs of the other Skylanders.
I think I brought that up.
Okay. Well, thank you, thank you, Cameron.
That was a Reigle original.
Yeah. Copyright 2015 Cameron Reigle. But no, it's a good point, and it's true, and but thankfully that works to our benefit for once. So
yeah, and I love that it's Donkey Kong, but I also like that it was a choice. Donkey Kong was the choice because they wanted to celebrate Donkey Kong. It's not because wouldn't it be funny to have Donkey Kong in the game, or it looks like...
Oh, yeah, Donkey Kong's such a shit character. Wouldn't it be just fun to have him be a total asshole in Skylanders? Ha, ha, ha. But no, they actually respected him.
And I think the unifying element is Diddy. If you put Diddy in a game, I'm not going to complain. You can do whatever you want.
This is the Cameron Reigle equation. I think you once said, like, Donkey Kong plus Diddy equals non-asshole Donkey Kong.
Yeah, well, I think adding Diddy sort of recontextualizes Donkey Kong, because if his little buddy is there, then Donkey Kong is forced to be a character that Diddy could look up to.
Yeah, he's always a hero with Diddy Kong around.
Exactly, because we've never had a game where Diddy Kong is a jerk.
Right.
Well, he was kind of
cocky.
He was a cocky douche
never,
in DK64, but yeah.
But whatever, I don't know how old he was, but he looks youthful. He can get away with a little bit.
He looks like something Billy Connolly would go for in the X-Files. I want to believe.
And I think that's part of, like, there's been a lot of commentary on Donkey Kong's design in this game, how extreme it is. Like, That's probably the toothiest grin we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, but it's so over the top though that I don't even mind it.
Exactly.
The reason this toothy grin works is because he's actually emoting with the rest of his face as well, so it looks like he's actually grinning, and it's not just this hideous rictus smile plastered onto his face.
Oh, like what you get on Mario Kart 8 when he does anything,
or Mario Kart DS, which is the worst. Remember, he just had like that hideous overbite.
Yeah.
The hideous grin that's like 8 pixels wide.
Yep.
That we have to devote an entire texture and like 8 extra polygons to fit this in.
Yeah, so
because it will improve the quality of our game.
Right. So to clear something up, we here at DK Vine are not anti-toothy grin. It just has to be done right, and it's usually not done well at all. So
yeah.
No, and I think the difference is in like Mario Kart DS or Mario Kart 8, it's everybody in those games looks, well, I don't know about Mario Kart DS, but everybody in Mario Kart 8 looks great. And then there's Donkey Kong, who's sort of the outlier puppet with a mouth that kind of bounces around.
Well, and they've not really given Donkey Kong a new stage of his own for that character design to live in. So it's also at a disadvantage.
Right, exactly. With Skylanders, that's a very loud and extreme design, but I just read that as this is what Donkey Kong looks like in this world.
He's also got a jumpsuit on. Like, there are so many differences that I feel like it gives them license to do their own thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is what we've decided Donkey Kong looks like in this world. This is what he would do. And there's just so many... Like, I love that minecart motorcycle, and you can tell in the concept art, like, how early they hit on that idea and how much they wanted to keep it around.
Oh my god, a minecart being referenced in the context of Donkey Kong and not arbitrarily being assigned to another character is fantastic.
There's a minecart, there's blast barrels, the instant ones from the original trilogy. There's, TNT barrels. We don't even see those in Retro's games.
There are the bongos, of course. It's like, it's the greatest hits of... They even have the
a literal greatest hit.
Yeah, there's girders that fall down, girders and ladders for fans of DKGirder.com.
And there are
not to be confused with DKGrinder.com, which Cranky Kong is known to frequent.
There's everyone check out Nick Prol's article for more on that. There's also these barrel boxing gloves, which, if you really want to stretch it, could be a reference to Donkey Kong's cameo in Punch-Out.
If you really want to stretch it.
Stretch it.
That's so absurd, but I accept it.
Yeah, we've never stretched things here at DK Vine. Not once.
No. Okay, anyway. I was going to make a stupid dick joke, but it wasn't even worth formulating.
Oh, come on, Chad. Dick jokes are always worth formulating.
All right, it was worth stretching. It wasn't something about Tip Tup's dad's one weird trick. Blah 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 blah.
We've been given license to make that canon, Chad.
I know. Well, no, we've been given license to make the conception idea canon. I don't know about Tip Tup's father's one weird trick.
I do enjoy that the Rare employees basically gave you guys free license to come up with any bullshit you want as long as it's funny.
No, and as long as it relates to Tip Top Suite.
Yeah.
We can't just come up with any old bullshit. I think for each individual instance, we need to get word of God bequeathed upon us.
But at least we are the foremost experts on the Tip Top Suite now.
Peter had said it.
The guy who made the Tip Top Suite. Come on.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Nintendo before we kick your ass off the show?
All right, see you at New Year's, Cameron.
This has been Radio Dead Air featuring Cameron Reigle.
Thanks, man.
And thank you for your time, any Rare employees who are listening. And I am sorry.
Yeah. Oh, if any Rare employees are listening and want a copy of the map, just email chad@dkvine.com or hyle@dkvine.com. And
yeah, my email works too.
Yeah.
And
we'll
I'm
send one your
definitely
way.
going to find a way to get that out there to people.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully in more forms than just the postcard. Stay tuned. And if you're tired of waiting, there's always that Diddy Kong Racing zine you can buy, and I can hold it off until next year.
Ooh, you hear that, listeners? A zine. Is that short? Is it short for magazine?
It's not done by me. It's I forget the artist, but I've linked to it before on the forums, and I will do so on the topic after this.
I linked to it on the Facebook page last year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, get the fuck off.
Yeah. Bye, Cameron.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good summer.
So next up, we have Nick Prol, the newest staff member.
This is Nick's first appearance on the show, so the next word he says will be the very first word he's ever uttered as a DK Vine staffer.
Make it a good one, Nick.
Where's my mint julep?
Oh, that was pretty good. That was more of a phrase.
Is that your catchphrase? Because I...
No, earlier Chad said I was like Bones on Star Trek or something. I forget.
Oh my God, you must have been listening too.
Yeah.
So you really got to get that Southern Georgia drawl though when you ask for your mint julep.
Yeah, I know nothing about Star Trek, so.
What?
Yep.
Like you haven't watched any episode of any
Chad,
series?
I got this. Let me explain. So Bones,
Sure.
Bones is their pirate skeleton.
Yeah.
on
Okay.
the Enterprise.
Yeah, I've seen that guy.
Yeah, and he takes over as captain when Kirk's just not feeling up to it.
Yeah, I've seen his business card. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, people like to ask him things too about why are you in the future. Nick, you may be known to our listeners as the guy what makes all those DKU comics.
Yeah, them silly funny papers.
Yeah, you go by the alias Spuzzwick.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah,
It's
so
nice to have another guy with an alias because people still call me Slush. So
Yes, Slushwick.
there's Slush, and then there's Spuzzwick, and of course Cameron's Clutch, and then Matt's Waddle DDD.
yeah, and I always go, of course, by my pseudonym Chad.
Yeah.
My Christian name is Kremling Force.
Of course.
right.
So let's talk about E3, Nick. Going into it, this is your first year with DK Vine, but did you have any sort of preconceived notions about the show in general, the idea of the hype, what you wanted to see?
I was always kind of unaware of whether it was open to the. Was it ever open to the public?
Not
At one
officially.
point it was, and then they quickly closed it to the public again.
Okay, so it's always just been like press and media and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a quote unquote industry event.
Yeah, I remember the days of G4. Do you remember that channel?
Yeah. With it was Adam Sessler and Morgan something.
I think Morgan Webb.
yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember seeing E3 coverage on there. That's back in like high school and getting hyped up for E3 and stuff. For this year, I just wanted to see something that our site could cover and get everyone excited about. I didn't really have much.
You just wanted comic content.
Yeah,
That's all
exactly.
you wanted.
Yeah, even if it
You're
was
like, I'm running out of ideas. I don't know what to do.
even if it was a bad thing, at least I could do something with it in the comic. So. But yeah, I was happy with what we got mostly.
Okay, so you're not one of those, the question that Jon Stewart always gets from lazy journalists when it's an election season, like, aren't you hoping the bad one's going to win so you'll have comedy material? You weren't hoping for anything like that?
No, of course not. I want the good guys to win.
But George Bush would be so hilarious as president.
I was hoping for a George Bush game premiere.
Yeah.
Where you like clear brush at the Crawford Ranch.
Yeah, and then there's that hunting minigame starring Dick Cheney.
Yeah, where he just shoots you in the face.
They should
and you
just
try to
take Saberman Stampede and change the assets or something.
That would be amazing if there was a way to mod the unfinished Saberman Stampede. So basically, you're just riding around on that journalist of various
or
sizes
on an elephant
with his face.
Yeah.
So of what we did see, what was your number one?
Oh man, as far as most anticipated.
Sure. Or what got you hyped the most, or whatever.
I mean,
however you want to qualify it.
Relating to DK Vine or not?
Let's say not.
We would hope it would be related to DK
No,
Vine.
no. I want to say not. I want to hear where he's going with this.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. The new Madden looked real. No, I'm just kidding.
You're off the staff, Nick.
This time with a slightly different roster.
No, but I mean Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm just really excited for. So I know that's unrelated, but
Oh, so you're actually a Metal Gear fan, then?
oh yeah, definitely.
I know.
No, it's just part 5 that he thinks looks
Yeah.
good. He hates the series.
I don't know. Maybe part 5, like it's like our Donkey Kong Country. We weren't really into the arcade games, and then here comes this something that like recreates the franchise from the ground up.
I just like Empire Strikes Back. That was a good part 5, so I'm just sort of assuming with this one.
Yeah.
Are they finally explaining who Solid Snake Jr. actually is?
Yeah. It's Snake, Rattle, and Roll. I don't know.
Yeah, he was raised by Solid Snake Sr.,
Yeah.
who was from Snake Rattle and
Sneaky
Roll.
Snake.
That's right. He's quite sneaky. That's the underlying gameplay mechanic for that
That's
series.
true, yeah. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to that because it looks like an absurd cinematic, crazy fest like usual. Star Fox Zero, I'm optimistic about, but we haven't gotten to the Nintendo segment, so I'll shut up.
Right. Well, that's you can let's jump around.
All right.
Star Fox Zero. You think that one looks good?
I don't know. You guys played it, and you said the graphics looked bad, and it kind of
Chad played it. I was all feeling sick at that point.
Yeah, Hyle was curled into a fetal position on the floor of the LA Convention Center, which honestly is probably the least sanitary place he could have been curled up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did play it, and it was
Or a rehash.
It was not only was it a rehash, it had GameCube era graphics.
Yeah.
And it had a control. Literally the only new thing is the control scheme.
But what about the Chicken Walker thing?
The chicken.
That's
okay,
new.
Well, that's from Star Fox 2.
Yeah.
But Star Fox 2, I know people count it, but it wasn't officially released.
True.
So
to me, the Chicken Walker is basically a skin for running around on foot.
Yeah. It's basically Star Fox Assault, but because people hate the on foot stuff because they can't open their minds to it, we're just going to disguise it as the form of a ship. So yeah, whatever.
I kind of Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it just seemed to me like it doesn't. There's nothing that it really brings to the table. It's basically Star Fox 64 new play control.
Yeah, I kind of approach games
But that's the first world, though, Chad. That's the first world. Sorry, Nick. That's the first world. I'm sure it may broaden itself in the later worlds, later missions.
Well, I know that it's coming out in November, so I really doubt the graphic issues will be.
Oh no,
addressed.
that's a pile of turds. But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of approach games the way I do with movies. Like, let's say you see a trailer for something that looks absolutely awful, but then at the end I see who's directing it and it's somebody I like, I'll hold out hope for it. I won't prejudge it. It's sort of a bias, I guess, but that's what I do with Rare. I'm into the people behind the scenes, so the fact that Platinum's making it makes me interested.
Okay, so you like Beautiful Joe, Bayonetta 2. You're into
Wonderful 101. I think their games, they're kind of like the modern day Treasure. Do you know that company?
Hang on, was Beautiful Joe? Did I just fuck up?
Beautiful was
that the same
Clover, but it was the same guy who went on to form Platinum.
Okay, that's where the connection is.
Yeah.
No, what did you just ask?
Treasure.
Sorry?
They're another developer.
No.
They did a bunch of Sega Genesis shoot-'em-ups like Gunstar Heroes, and there's probably something they're most famous for. I'm forgetting. They actually did Wario World. Nintendo started hiring them for stuff, but they're known for like lots of crazy action set pieces, huge bosses, tons of stuff on the screen at once, really creative stuff. So I feel like Platinum sort of reminds me of them a little bit, and I don't know. So that would be cool if there's cool bosses and I don't know, creative arcadey type stuff in it. But like you said, it could suck.
Yeah, maybe it was just because I was playing the Corneria stage, but it didn't feel like there was much original in there other than the brief Chicken Walker thing.
Yeah.
But perhaps there's, maybe it just does that to introduce you to the concept and then goes off on its own path.
Yeah.
I honestly have kind of little faith in Miyamoto to go that route, but we can always hold out hope.
Yeah, I'm just being cautiously optimistic. It could absolutely suck, but whatever.
Yeah.
And Rare, of course, super excited.
Oh, them.
Yeah, those
whatever.
guys. That warmed my
Haven't
heart.
we talked enough about Rare at this point? I think we should
you're right. Just forget that.
Let's just never bring them up. Like, at least let's just take a break for the rest of the year and let's just
Seriously.
talk about.
Give it a
let's
rest.
talk about Beautiful Joe. We haven't talked about that
let's
much.
get going. No, but just you guys, your presence at E3. I don't know. Made me proud to be part of DK Vine. It was really cool.
Ah, well, you picked the right year to join.
Yeah, well, technically I joined last year, but yeah.
Okay, well, let's say the right fiscal year.
Yes. Well, you joined, but then you were knighted as a staffer just a few months ago. So.
And discovered you guys when I was 11, and I've told that story before, I think.
Oh, that's disturbing.
Yeah.
That is disturbing. That's like Billy Connolly age.
What year would that have been?
I'm gonna blank on the math right now. I'm 23. No.
23. So
God, we're
11,
old, Chad. We're old.
12 years ago. Okay. Yeah, 2003. Yeah, that would have been right when we were graduating high school, getting into college. So we were just leaving the site around that time.
Yeah, I think I left a message on Kongversation before about how I basically discovered what porn was thanks to you guys.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, thanks to our comic, Green Porn
Oh,
City.
yeah, the prototype of DKU comic site. Yeah.
I'm glad
Never
we could
make that comparison.
I'm glad we could inspire you.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm waiting for that diarrhea comic for.
Green Porn City is the darkest chapter in File 2 Productions history.
There was like I would say like 4 of them are really good.
Yeah. Out of the several dozen we made, I'd say
the gasoline one that we always fight for the credit of who came up with that. That's a good one.
That was a good one. It was paced well.
There's gems.
That's why that one worked.
Speaking of File 2, I always choose File 2 on games now, thanks to you guys.
Oh yeah,
great. Yeah, that's actually Hyle and I found out way back when, like 98, 99, that was we both
we didn't know each other in 98, Chad.
Okay,
we
whatever.
met in 99.
99, spring of 99. It was a very good year, and we learned that we both used File 2 on games.
It's like meeting someone else who uses AAA as the username. It's like, oh my god.
I usually put in ass, but sometimes I put in AAA.
You're meant to be.
We're the same person. So let's actually talk about Rare, though.
Yeah, Rare was just a big ball of, nostalgia mixed with optimism for the future, I would say. The Rare replay is awesome. I don't have an Xbox One. Don't see myself getting one just for it just yet, even though I'm tempted. But
well, it's amazing because Cameron just got an Xbox One.
Yeah.
And then
Matt?
Chad got an Xbox One. Did Matt get one?
I think so.
Yep. He's all one up.
Yeah. So I was gonna say we've all gotten Xboxed, except Nick and I think Jeff still need to get Xbox now.
Yeah,
so.
we'll see.
Boo, Nick and Jeff. Boo.
Well, until now, there really wasn't a reason to get one.
Project Spark
of course.
was the reason.
Yeah. That's actually where I got mine. I knew stuff with Rare was coming, and with Project Spark, that was just enough to push me over the edge. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I went for the PS4, which has just been gathering dust until a couple days ago because Batman came out. But other than that,
How is that Batman?
it's good. People don't like the Batmobile, I guess. But
Yeah. I have been keeping up with it, and I actually have it myself, and I've been playing it, but I can't get into it because the Batmobile missions suck.
yeah.
Did I make a mistake? Because I bought my Xbox in a window where I could get a free game, and I bought Witcher 3 independently, which is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that. But of the available games. For this deal, I get a free game with my Xbox. Batman was one of them. I went with Fallout 4, and that's just because I was watching.
Which Batman, Arkham Knight or?
Yeah. I think it was the new one because it was $60.
See, I would start with Arkham Asylum because that's a really.
Oh well,
fun
I've played
game.
that.
Have you played City?
Well, then
no. City was the one I played.
Okay.
I didn't play Asylum.
Okay, Arkham Asylum I think is the most pure fun of the bunch.
It's
but,
City is part 2, right?
Yeah, Asylum was actually
I played
sort
that.
of a very isolated Metroidvania style game, and then they
it was actually kind of Batman's Grab by the Ghoulies because you're just basically in a haunted mansion essentially.
Yeah, and then they opened it up to be more open world.
So is the big twist that the butler was really Joker the whole time?
There's stuff similarly insane in this one. I give it a seal of approval, even if it does get way too Batmobile heavy or something as I go. It's still worth it just for the surprises I've encountered so far. There's some really cool.
It's oddly misogynistic too.
Oh really?
What?
Oh, you have to save every woman in the game, right? You mean
I don't want to give any spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
I haven't gotten there yet, but
okay.
The new one is oddly misogynistic.
yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I mean,
And Batman's just a dick to everybody, and it's just like.
The game has
Batman.
a scene from the Killing Joke comic. You can't go wrong with that. It's really true to the source stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is, but there's no strong female empowerment moments. It's all just
I wasn't talking about that. Yeah, I'm sure it could be definitely criticized for that, but
Yeah,
But are there a lot of strong female empowerment moments in Batman comics in general?
Yeah, actually, yeah,
There are.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Robin was a girl at one point.
What?
yeah, Stephanie Brown and
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, she's gonna be a girl. That's the rumor in the new movie.
God, they got a black Spider-Man. They've got a girl Robin. This is a new era for DC Comics. Well, Spider-Man's Marvel.
and there's a black Spider-Man, but Peter Parker's still around too. So
Oh, really? They're not just going for it?
No.
well, there's the Ultimate Universe, Chad, and then there's the 616 universe, which is the traditional Marvel universe, and they've collided recently. And I'm not going to get into this because I don't care.
I'm more of a fan.
I'm
more of a fan of the Spider-Ham universe.
This is a post-racial country that we live in. Barack Obama's president. The Confederate flag is
and
illegal.
he was in Spider-Man.
The Confederate flag is illegal. Actually, they pulled Dukes of Hazzard from TV Land.
Now that I think is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you hear some guy bought the original car from that show and then like crashed it the day he bought it?
The General Lee, really?
I think it was that. Yeah, like real recently.
Wow.
We're on such a tangent here.
That's just because Boss Hogg was chasing him. I mean, if he had disguised the fact that he was driving the General Lee, I'm sure it would be in pristine condition. But you get in the General Lee, Boss Hogg's gonna pursue you.
Yeah.
There's I'm sorry, but there's a difference between Birth of a Nation and the Dukes of Hazzard. You know,
Yeah,
like,
one's in color. That's it.
No, but yeah, I agree, Chad. Like that is where like the PC-ness gets overblown. It's when like they're just idiotic rednecks who drive around in a car. I mean,
like their primary antagonist is named Boss Hogg.
Yeah.
Are you really looking for nuanced race relations?
Which if Nintendo can't use WizPig in Diddy Kong Racing Wii U, I really hope they call him Boss Hogg.
He is chasing people in cars, so
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. He just needs like to be riding on a Doctor Strangelove style rocket.
But yeah, so Rare. It was great.
Oh yeah, Rare.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Sea of Thieves looks cool.
I'm glad they removed all Confederate flags from Sea of Thieves because
that was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
No, what are you speculating about Sea of Thieves? Because we don't know that much.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an MMO or just a sort of new multiplayer
Not an
experience.
MMO. It's not an
definitely
MMO.
not.
Yeah, Phil Spencer said it's not an MMO in the same way that you would think of like Destiny as an MMO.
So it's just an MMO.
It's I guess. One way you could interpret that is that it's a story-driven game that you can play with a collection of friends.
That's cool. I like that.
But that's against speculation, of course.
Yeah, I love pirates. I share with you guys. I actually didn't grow up with Donkey Kong Country 2 like you guys, but revisited it thanks to your praise, and it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay, well that's all that matters.
My favorite game
that
of
you
all
listen
time.
to us.
My favorite game of all time is Rayman 2: The Great Escape, and that is piratey as hell. So.
Oh, is that the 64 one?
Yes, it's.
Yeah, I love that. That was actually outside the Banjo series and DK, outside the Rare platformers. That was probably my favorite 3D platformer of that era.
I mean, it is my favorite. I don't think it's a better game than the Rare game. Rare made better games, but as far as just close to my heart, some stuff just hits you a certain way.
Yeah, nostalgia.
It was so
you can't
magical
really
and mysterious. They spoke in like a weird, made-up language, and it was very European. It's made by French people, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Are you sure that language wasn't French?
No, it was like Pig Latin mixed with French or something. But speaking of,
it'd be great if it was the French that's spoken at the beginning of Team America.
Oh yeah,
where it's like bonjour, bonjour.
Yeah,
and he comes in. Don't worry, everyone, it's bon.
But yeah, that game was created by a guy, Michel Ancel. I think it's how you pronounce it. I was hoping to see his new game at E3. Actually, that's one thing I was looking forward to. But I don't think they showed anything, right?
I didn't see the Ubisoft. Is he still with Ubisoft?
No, I think he just formed an independent company or something called something Sheep or something. But yeah, it's called Wild.
Okay, I didn't look in anything beyond Nintendo.
Gotcha.
Or
yeah. Well, I don't blame you. Yeah, that's what you guys went there for.
It was a pretty jam-packed couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of time to see Bethesda or Ubisoft's offerings.
Yeah. But Sea of Thieves, Yeah, it looks really cool. I might have to kind of experience it through proxy if I don't have an Xbox yet. But if you,
I think you've got time. We're not expecting this one to be out until at some point in 2016.
True. Yeah, it looks piratey. I mean, yeah, that's all it is. It's just pirates. It looks great. Yeah, it'd be cool if the walking the plank stuff and stuff like that we haven't seen before really is utilized in a cool way.
Yeah, the way that it was actually described to us, that walking the plank mechanic, is that there is no mechanic. It's just you don't walk up to a plank and hit A and force the guy off.
Yeah.
You can threaten someone who happens to be near the plank with your weapon through the normal gameplay and force them off the ship.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's none of this context sensitive kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pro everything Rare showed.
Yeah. How about Rare Replay?
Well, he's just said he's pro everything.
Well,
Rare
I'm curious specifically. Is there any standout game from Replay?
Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Yeah. Did you ever get to play it the first time around?
Oh yeah, I was a huge champion of it. In middle school, I traded my PS2 for some kid's Xbox because everyone was pressuring me, saying, Xbox is the man's console, man. It's so cool, Halo, So I got the Xbox, hated Halo and everything else. Not hated, but, was pretty bored with. And was really into a couple really unique Xbox games. One was Voodoo Vince. I thought that was a cool game. And the other...
Did you play Blinks the Time Sweeper?
No, but it's a point of reference I love pulling out. It's such an obscure...
I actually really liked Blinks.
I didn't play it.
It had a really cool... The whole idea of rewinding the level.
Yeah.
That was a neat thing that I haven't really seen anyone. Well, I guess there was this indie platformer called Braid that sort of ripped off that concept.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to call it. It ripped off that. concept.
Prince of Persia had it too, I think. But yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But Blinks is the first time I can remember seeing it, and I thought it was a really unique idea.
Did you know they made a sequel to that game?
Blinks?
Yeah, it's like Blinks and like a pig guy or something. I forget.
Boss Hog?
No, Whizpig, I think. But
that's what happened. to Whizpig.
So wait, why isn't that DK?
We just because no one knows it exists, I guess.
There's this whole it's like Connect
it's
Sports
like
Season 2
Royston.
all over
yeah,
again.
It's like Royston and Connect Sports. Yeah.
Yeah. But
which, by the way, Connect Sports Season 2 takes place in outer space.
No, that's Rivals.
Is it?
I don't know. No.
No, Rivals has the island on Cameron's map. Connect Sports Season 2 has the Earth in the distance in place of the moon.
I'm actually planning to get Rivals in like a couple weeks now, so we'll see.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear no corrections from you on Connect Sports, Russell.
Hey, soon I'll be the Connect Sports expert. You'll be coming to me for answers.
Sure.
We'll call you the Connexpert.
Oh, I like that.
yeah, you ran out of steam for that title halfway through.
But on the Xbox, the first Xbox, not the Xbox One,
right.
There were a lot of really cool overlooked games that were very, Nintendo-y, despite being on the Xbox, I thought. And one of those, like I said, was Voodoo Vince. The other one was Grabbed by the Ghoulies. And that was sort of around the time when I started connecting the dots with Rare being connected to all my favorite things. And when I played that game, I was like, well, this is obviously made by the Banjo people. And I played a demo of it, and then I remember all my friends, some big game was coming out, and all my friends bought that one, but I bought Grabbed by the Ghoulies instead, and there was some mockery there. But yeah, I'm a
there's mockery of us playing the game at the Microsoft press.
Yeah, I could
party.
so relate to that. Just saying the title to people, they get kind of yeah.
Oh yeah, we met an interesting fellow at E3 who we talked about Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and he laughed in our faces.
Yeah.
It's funny when you say that title. There's like a roller coaster of emotions that people go. You say grabbed, and they go, "Yeah, by the Ghoulies." What the fuck?
Yeah.
But I'm hoping Rare Replay actually changes people's minds because people are going to be open to all of these experiences, and I'm hoping that they'll be like, "Oh, wait, this is actually a superb game. What the fuck?"
Yeah. I loved that game. I loved the art style, and it seemed like a lot of stuff was destructible compared to a lot of other games. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And much like Wind Waker, that sort of it's not as deeply cel shaded as GameCube's Wind Waker was, but it definitely looks fantastic when blown up into HD.
Yeah.
Oh, cartoony style holds up better than realism every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's great that as we were talking about earlier. Rare, they almost always go for some form of stylization, which I think is very smart on their part.
I actually think the pirates from Sea of Thieves look like they could fit into not quite, but they could fit into a Ghoulies game. They're a little bit more realistic, but that stylization is still there. There's some exaggerated features.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of looks like the game we don't speak about, Nuts and Bolts. Just sort of in the angular way it looks, kind of cubey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they almost look to me the way that Project Spark's Champions look.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly, which has deep Rare ties, so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's almost like they were sort of carved, like it's like a stylized wood carving.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sea of Thieves gets a thumbs up of optimism from me.
Well, you're just being paid to say that, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
Sell out. Sell out.
You mean I'm getting paid to say that?
All right. Any final thoughts?
Well, what about
before we
Nintendo?
kick you
What about
off?
Nintendo? Like, I guess
we talked about it.
Kind of did it
Nintendo.
ahead of time, but
What about Skylanders? Did you mention Skylanders?
no, because I'm still not sure what that is. No, I'm kidding.
Is.
I know what it is.
How can this be like the best-selling game?
Yeah,
like
kids
you look
love
like,
it.
You look at like what's selling the best in video games, and it's always these Skylanders figures, and it's like,
jeez, and and that Banjo DLC pack forced us to figure out what the hell Minecraft is, and now here we are again.
So Skylanders, am I right? It's like a Spyro spin-off in a weird way, right?
It is. Well, yeah, because the first game was called like subtitled Spyro's.
Yeah.
Spyro's Magical.
It looks like something I would be
Eureka or
obsessed
something,
with if I was like 9 years old or something. I would love it. But
No. I've often said that if Skylanders was around when I was a kid, it would have a very good chance of being an obsession of mine. I might not have even gotten to Donkey Kong Country if there was any overlap there, because this whole thing where you have to actually collect toys to serve the game, that just like feeds right into a kid's mentality, you know?
Listen, this is the best evidence that I think we have for Game Freak's utter incompetence is the fact that there is not a Pokemon corollary to Skylanders.
People would be addicted.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah,
that would just be printing money forever.
I always thought it'd be cool because the 3DS when I got it had all this like AR reader stuff. Is that what it's called? AR?
Yeah. It's I don't. They probably have a special Skylanders version name for it.
I always thought, why don't you scan Pokemon cards and then it like puts them into the Pokemon game or something? I don't know. They should do that.
Well, they could have done that with the e-reader. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
There may have been some sort of QR and then 3DS camera. For some reason, I want to say there might have been a Pokemon TCG video game that had a mechanic similar to that.
Okay.
But it's really hard to see because like Nintendo is just like built on all these failed peripherals and add-ons, and so. But you're talking about it was actually just like digital versions of the cards. It wasn't actually scanning anything in, right?
I think that there was a way to scan it, but I might just be completely making that up because I've never played the Pokemon TCG.
Because there's so many Pokemon spin-offs from that era where it's just like I like after Pokemon Snap, they all just start to blur together.
Now, Pokemon Snap is the one that really needs a revival because that game would be so much fun on the gamepad.
Yeah, on the Wii U, it's perfect for it.
I've mocked you for bringing up Pokemon Snap, but the more I've thought about it off the air, I actually like how quaint that game is. It's all just kind of taking in the environment of Pokemon. If there was a Donkey Kong game where you just kind of rolled around on Donkey Kong Island, like looking at scenery and taking pictures of it, that would be awesome.
Oh, Pokemon Snap was a lot of fun, and I loved how it embraced the anime. You know, it had Gary. It wasn't Gary. It was Snap was his name, right? Anyway,
which sounds like a male stripper.
It also had
name?
Professor Oak.
Snap.
Anyway, he met Ash in one of the cartoons, but
have you guys played Beyond Good and Evil?
No.
Oh man, it's such a good game. In that, it's like half the game is a Pokemon Snap sort of side mission where you can take picture of like wildlife and stuff. It's really cool.
Oh well, so is Donkey Kong 64. You had to
Oh yeah, you're right.
Berries. Yeah.
Wind Waker also
that
had,
too. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Although the thing that sucked about Wind Waker is that you don't get the camera until well into the adventure. So if you want to get everyone captured
you
on
gotta go
film,
back, right?
You got to replay the thing to get some of those early bosses that you defeated.
Didn't they fix it a little bit in the HD version, or did they not?
I haven't on the HD one. I gave up after I beat Dragon Roost Island, so I never got to the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of something else came out and I ran out of steam.
Gotcha. But yeah,
And I played Wind Waker exhaustively on the GameCube.
yeah,
so,
I love Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Skylanders, it's a thing kids love, and it exists.
And Donkey Kong's in it now.
Yeah,
so maybe
yeah,
kids
that
will
is
love
cool.
Maybe kids will love Donkey Kong more now.
Yeah, that is cool that he's in it. Is he wearing like a organ grinder suit or something? What is he wearing?
It's like an Evel Knievel, like thrill seeker, like stuntman jumpsuit. Yeah.
I thought he was supposed to look like a circus monkey or something. I didn't get it.
No, that's Swanky shtick. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, as evidenced by Swanky's giant cymbals that he clangs around.
Gotcha. Well, I guess I'll head off. Anything in the DKU comics you guys would like to see happen?
I want to see Swanky clanging some giant cymbals.
All right. How about you?
I want to see Billy Connolly trying to rape Diddy Kong.
Oh, let's not.
I'm already.
Let's please not.
I'm already inking next week's strip. Well, let's do it. All right.
No, I do want to see somebody have the diarrhea.
No. Again, veto. I don't often use my co-founder veto card, but I'm doing it twice in one episode.
Billy Connolly it is. All right, got it.
This is why we can never. This is why Green Porn City fell apart. Because I wanted pedophilia and diarrhea, and I can only get the diarrhea in there.
Well, it lives on in my heart.
For some reason, I poo-pooed the diarrhea.
Poor choice of words.
So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. It's an honor.
Yeah. Welcome to the staff officially. Yeah.
Hello,
Again.
world. All right.
So
you mentioned that Joe.
Yes.
You talked to him about things.
Yeah. Joe couldn't be here tonight, but he wanted to get his thoughts in. You know, he loves being on the Kongversation, and who am I to deny him, even if his schedule doesn't match? So a couple days ago, I sat down with Mr. Joe Mudd, and this is what he had to say about E3.
Ooh.
All right. Well, we're here with Joe Mudd. Joe, welcome back to the show.
Hello, dearies. I may have died since Season 3, Episode 11, but I can still provide hints from beyond the grave.
Wait, do you actually remember which episode was the last episode you were on?
There's something in the back of my brain, my ethereal brain, that's telling me it was Season 3, Episode 11.
Season 3, Episode 11. I should know this as like co-showrunner. I should know what episode that was, and yet I don't think I could tell you. It was.
We'll have to look it up on the DK Vine wiki.
Was it the Renaissance episode? Yeah. It was the Renaissance. The episode where we coined the term Renaissance. Yes.
Yeah. I can imagine Chad wasn't around for that. So
No.
Vetoed it immediately.
No, yeah, Chad was there. It was the three of us. So
Oh, it was the three of us.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember which one it was. Yeah.
Well, that was an historic episode because that was that really got the ball rolling towards where we are after this E3. So Joe, real quick, on the grand scale of E3s, you know, there's the really shitty ones with things like Wii Music. Electroplankton, the Nintendo Land where Chad got drunk,
New Super Mario Brothers 2 and New Super Mario Brothers U.
Yeah.
One after the other.
I'm pretty sure wasn't that the Nintendo Land E3 where
probably it was god awful, wasn't it?
I remember Chad got blackout drunk during that one. But
there's
then
the one in between Returns and Tropical Freeze, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, there's a couple in between Returns and Tropical Freeze. There was two. Yeah, so.
This was the year that the main page got updated and like things like the nice spinning pre-rendered news icons appeared. So I remember like the site got cleaned up in time for E3 because we were kind of expecting something slightly exciting that would maybe draw people to the site, and we got Nintendo Land.
Donkey Kong's Crash Course, yeah.
Which I'm so glad that's not DKU.
Oh, I know. But, you know, there's also the really good E3s. I think this predates DK Vine, but 1995, the very first E3, was a good E3 because the guy gave us Donkey Kong Country 2.
Oh, wow. Must have been amazing.
Yeah, I read about that in Nintendo Power, the very first, actually 20 years ago this summer. Yeah, so... then there was, of course, 2001, which gave us the deluge of games that either got altered or got canceled in the wake of the buyout, but it was still a great E3.
I mean, it must be hard to look back on that fondly, because have you ever had like friends who you used to be really close to, and then it turned out they were just using you all along, or they were just dickheads or rapists or paedophiles or something, and you think, should I still look back on my time with this guy fondly, or has it been tainted by the fact that he's a paedophile rapist?
Well, I think that's like ex-girlfriends. Like, can I look back?
Yeah, ex-breakups and stuff.
Yeah. For me, I mean, ex-girlfriends, because that's the only like closest analog I have, and it's hard, but at the very least, this didn't leave me emotionally gutted. So I look back on E3 2001 very fondly, because
you were happy at the time, weren't you? You can look back to your happiness, I suppose, rather than thinking about, it was all just lies.
Right.
Built on lies.
Right. And then, if you're lonely and single and enough time has passed, you can eventually masturbate to it again.
Yeah. I don't really have any sad romantic stories because I've never really been involved in any romance anyway.
Oh, well, there you go. Just love them and leave them,
Yeah.
So, E3 2001 was fantastic. I think that's the high water mark. And then, of course, there's 2010, where Donkey Kong Country returned. 2013 with Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
Out of, like, the good and the bad, where would you rank this E3?
Well, good question. I was thinking about this, actually. I would say it was almost, but not quite as exciting as I don't know. Hang on. I think it was possibly more exciting than Tropical Freeze, but nothing could top the announcement of Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Well, Donkey Kong Country Returns really got everything rolling again. I mean, that's like the ground zero for the modern era of DK Vine. So. Yeah.
I was just in a stunned silence. I think I've told the story on the show before, so I won't go into any more detail, but that was just an absolute mindfuck that day. I just couldn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming. I thought, this is impossible. This is a joke. This is some kind of joke.
Yeah, I remember, like, and I've told this story many times, just the build up to, like, it was like the 2 days leading up to that announcement were just insane, and it was it was definitely like the most fun I had had in years at that point. I was like, I've got to come back to DK Vine. This is too much fun to just let it be a relic of my past.
I was going to say, with the Tropical Freeze announcement, it was kind of a surprise during the trailer. Like, you just saw some trees and a plane falling down, and I think a few people thought Star Fox, didn't they?
I thought it was a spaceship at first. I thought that it was going to be some sort of sci-fi game, like maybe a 2D like Pikmin side scroller or something. and then like I thought I recognized the music, but my brain wouldn't let me accept that it was DK Island Swing or whatever. And
there's that split second where it suddenly twigged to me that it was dum 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 dum, and it was like, well, not that I would know, but I imagine it was like coming up on ecstasy or something, and suddenly getting this rush of, oh my god, and then seeing Donkey Kong jump out of that plane, maybe go, ah! Oh, what's more is that no one else could see it. We were doing a live blog. I was looking at the European one, which was lag-free. Everyone else's was lagging, so they were looking at fucking Animal Crossing or some bullshit like that. And I was screaming, oh my god, it's Tropical Freeze, it's Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
and like, what?
Well, and I remember, because this was like the year where we still tried to stream it through Nintendo's website, not realizing that like YouTube was much stronger. But I remember not registering what was happening. Because I was confused. I was like, because I didn't think Retro was ever going to make another Donkey Kong game at that point. I just kind of part of me just was like, yeah, they're done with Donkey Kong, and so I didn't know what I was seeing. I was like, this is a new 2D Donkey Kong game, but who's making it? What's it coming out for? What's happening?
Oh, I more or less knew there was a sequel coming, but I didn't think it'd be for a few years yet. Like, because the year before we didn't get it, I thought, right, we're just not going to get it for a while then, and it was just. It was just a lovely shock trailer. Like, the Returns one, it was all built up to, it was all hyped up. And anyway, talk about what this year's E3 was like. The whole Rare replay thing was fantastic. It was all the joy of the Returns one, because we kind of knew something was coming, combined with the shock of the Tropical Freeze one, because we didn't know that was what was coming,
Yeah.
Well, all those games for a fraction of what it would cost to buy like one of them. Like, Jeff, I think, has got out his pocket calculator and done a ton of, maths on how much it would cost to buy each and every one of these games. And even like, say, if you wanted to just buy Banjo-Tooie, a cartridge, it would cost like 40 quid more than it would cost for all 30 of these games in this collection.
Yeah. I mean, Rare Replay didn't surprise me because we knew it was coming before it was announced.
Yeah, you had insider knowledge, didn't you?
Well, we did, but it also was leaked accidentally by GameStop the night before, so it was more or less confirmed at that point. Obviously, like, Chad and I knew something was coming, or else we wouldn't have been out at E3. We did have knowledge, at least as far as that something big from Rare was coming, and it would be worth our while to be out there. But it was Rare Replay wasn't a surprise, but it was something that grew steadily more satisfying as E3 went on. It definitely, I wasn't really looking forward to, nor did I see the appeal of just having a collection of Rare games when most of them are just available on Xbox Live Arcade. It wasn't until that, not most of them, but a good portion of them that I would be naturally interested in. Like the Banjo games and whatnot.
And I am so glad Nuts and Bolts is included in this collection as well. I really hope that means people are going to warm up to it a bit, soften up to it, and give it a try, because it's really good fun. It's such a good game.
I think you're going to see a lot of that, like with Ghoulies, Nuts and Bolts. I think people are going to
finally going to play Ghoulies. It's not just like every bin in Nuts and Bolts is full of Grab by the Ghoulies boxes.
Because you're basically getting Ghoulies for $1. I mean, at that price, you can't complain. So,
yeah, usually when I want to get grabbed by the Ghoulies, it costs me at least $10.
Hey,
hey lads!
Yes, thank you. Rare Replay was something that value grew as the show went on, and I realized, it's going to have all of these documentaries and special features and interviews and unseen video game footage. It's just an incredible treasure trove of treats and delights for Rare fans. So,
well, it's just fantastic how attitudes have changed. You know, how when Rare first got to Microsoft, their games didn't sell very well because it was the perception was that the Xbox was bought by a bunch of frat boys who don't want to play kiddie games about brightly coloured characters. They want games about shoot 'em ups.
Let's be fair, it's true.
Yeah. I mean, and in this trailer, they went straight for the nostalgia angle, so they hit you right in the heart.
Oh, yeah.
I just really love that speech with it. You'll never forget your first game.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful speech that I don't know who the guy is who does the voiceover, but he's brilliant.
Yeah, right. It was just, it was definitely emotionally resonant, and it immediately would make anybody nostalgic for, if they had played one of these games in their childhood or in happier times, then they would definitely kind of feel the pangs of nostalgia and be attracted. So it was brilliantly done. It was just one of the best reveal trailers I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just and what I really love is that it was so popular, and it's the most pre-ordered game from E3, isn't it? Cameron or Jeff, someone keeps, Isn't that amazing?
At least, yes, at least as of recording time. Yes,
we already know that it's going to be a top seller. It's just wonderful, really is.
Yeah, Grab by the Ghoulies will finally sell 1 million copies,
and then hell will freeze over. Pigs will fly.
Hogwash, yes. So Rare Replay. What do you think about Sea of Thieves though? Because that's the one that people are debating about. So some of these, I don't want to call them fair-weathered Rare fans, but some of the people are being kind of cunty about Sea of Thieves.
People being cunty on the internet. Good.
I know. Go figure, right?
Yeah. Well, Sea of Thieves. I've got a sneaking suspicion, and I've alluded to this on the forum already. On one of my annual posts that I make.
Yeah, you don't make posts too often, Joe.
I know. It's because I always think I want to save it for the podcast. I'll say it on the Conversation next time I'm on the Conversation. But I haven't been asked to be on it in a while.
It's been really busy, Joe. I'm sorry. We'll try to get you on more as the summer goes on.
It's annoying, because I left in the Conversation thread that I was going to talk about a date I went on, which ended up being DKU related. But that I can't talk about that now because it's E3. But I'm gonna have to put that on the back burner. That's still coming. Matt says it's a shit story, but Matt doesn't know anything.
Well, and we've also got to get you to read some YouTube comments here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's read all the YouTube comments I've missed. All 3,000 of the YouTube comments I've got saved in this backlog from the episodes I wasn't on. Right, starting with...
I really just want you to read the nasty ones, like the really hostile ones, which are few and far between, but they do exist.
I forgot. His name's Mamechi, that's what his name was. That would have been a really funny punchline, but I couldn't remember his name. I was thinking Tamagotchi or something.
There's a really funny YouTube comment on the Chris Sutherland interview episode where people where this guy talks shit about Chad and I because we're American or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. Sorry,
Sorry for being American. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Anyway, I've made a post saying I've got a sneaking suspicion that Sea of Thieves is the original concept for Project Dream.
So when you say the original concept, do you mean what predates like Edson and his dog and all of those like?
Maybe. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. When it started off as just Captain Black Eye as the bad guy, and I don't know who the good guy was. Because
there's Captain Black Eye, and we learned recently from I think Ed Bryan on Twitter that, or maybe it was Steve Mails. I don't know. It was somebody who had worked on Dream, who's no longer with Rare. They replied to Greg Mails that all of these pirate names that were going to be either part of Black Eye's crew or rival pirates or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, first time I'd ever seen these names. So.
Yeah, and let it never be said that Rare can't change a game during development.
Oh my God, they do it all the time.
Yeah. They could turn a My Little Pony game into a survival horror,
I thought you were going to go somewhere sexual with that. I'm disappointed. Yes. So you think that there's at least some of Dream's DNA in this game, which if Black Eye is in it, which I know people are now debating whether he's actually in it or not, because the picture that Greg Mails was using on Twitter, he claims is actually from Dream itself. But he does say Black Eye's Dream is ready to leave port again, and from the conversations Chad and I had on the show floor with Rare people, they were all we were talking as if Black Eye was in it, and nobody was disagreeing with us. They were like, "Oh, yep." So
we've seen now, haven't we? Picture of Black Eye, he's clean shaven.
Yeah, but Greg Mails claims that's from Dream now. But he's not denying that Black Eye isn't in Sea of Thieves. He's just saying that the image he was using for his Twitter profile was from Dream. So
really?
there's
it looked like a modern render. It didn't look like an old 90s render.
I know, and we're wondering if that's just a dirty lie, because he said still looks good today, and we were like, yeah, but that doesn't really look like what it would look like from Dream. But who knows,
To be honest, he does look quite cartoony, like big, wide-eyed compared to the Sea of Thieves characters. So
yeah, but if you actually look at the Sea of Thieves characters, they look vaguely cartoony too. It's there's kind of a middle ground. They're kind of halfway between realistic, like perfect dark characters and Grab by the Ghoulies characters. So there's a cartoony flair to it that's definitely there.
I guess they can vary quite a bit. Like if you look at say Humber in Nuts and Bolts, she looks fairly well compared to Humber in Tui, where she had rectangular eyes. Which I really liked, and I'm kind of sad that disappeared because I think that's a hilarious visual character trait. To just being like an over-sexualized, please don't think this is racist, very respectful Native American who no longer said Big Heap Bear and Big Heap Bird and Big Heap Trouble.
To be fair to Rare, and I'm sure you can vouch for this being, part of the UK. You probably the cultural insensitivity to Native Americans isn't at the forefront of your brains over there.
Nah, yeah, it's true. Well, we're not the ones that did the genocide, are we?
Well, to be fair, it was my ancestors that did the genocide. All right, I wash my hands clean of that. But no, because you just have the portrayals in like old Hollywood westerns and whatnot. So it's gonna be racist as shit. So yeah,
we're just relying on American media, portrayals of Native Americans.
Right. So yeah, it's not Rare's fault.
No.
But no, it's definitely it's got a stylized element to it. Like it looks very realistic and pretty, but the humans themselves kind of have a bit of a cartoony flair to them, which I like.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? To finally see games coming out of this gritty, dark phase, and to see brightly coloured video games again with brightly coloured characters and just colour everywhere.
That's something we kept telling Rare at the show, just how glad we were to see a game with primary colors and just something that wasn't just drenched in cynicism and post-apocalyptic bleakness.
Yeah, if we want that, we could just go to DK Vine Forum.
That's completely irrelevant discussion. Yeah.
I think Jim's just like, we should have a stone gargoyle of Jim erected above completely irrelevant discussion. Holding a sign that says "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here."
It should be of Smokey the Dragon. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
His avatar. But so Sea of Thieves, you're firmly in the camp that you think it looks promising.
Yeah. It's a MMO, isn't it? Well, there's some kind of online game.
It's actually not an MMO. Phil Spencer has come out in an interview. He hasn't come out. Yeah, well, the Supreme Court just legalized gay marriage in all 50 states, so it's a party. Everybody's getting on board.
Oh man, how good is that? That's made, even though I'm not a US citizen, that's made me extremely happy. Someone sent me a link to it as soon as it happened. I was just like, what?
yeah. It was unthinkable like 10 years ago, and I never thought I would see it until I was elderly. So I'm just so happy.
Me too. I thought it would just be like the states one by one. I didn't think it'd be a Supreme Court thing, and like the last couple of states, probably the southern ones.
oh yeah, that's all. That's literally all that was left were the southern and midwestern states. So
so.
Luckily, my state, Virginia, is it's considered a southern state, but it's like the northern tip of the South. And luckily, it had been one of those states to legalize it before the Supreme Court decision. So I didn't have that stigma. But it's great times. Great times. Rare's back, and gay marriage is legal in the U.S. So
yeah,
fantastic.
It's a happy day for Jolly and Maggie.
I know, right? Man, out of it, they must be the two happiest video game characters in the world right now.
Yeah. Sadly, they're the Mushroom Kingdom. They've just recriminalized it, and so Birdo's just been sent to prison, and that's why Birdo's not in the new Mario Kart.
Yeah. Birdo's crossed the border into the Rare Archipelago to get married.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves. I mean, I've gushed about it, and it kind of it's disheartening to see some Rare fans, some purported Rare fans, immediately dismissing it because it's not Banjo, because it's not Conker, because it's not fill in the blank. And it's just like, this is the reaction I had to Banjo-Kazooie when it was announced in 1998, and it wasn't Donkey Kong 64. I had the same reaction, and it's just a very childish kind of. And look, Banjo-Kazooie worked out well for me because I got behind it, and guess what?
You grew to love another cartoon animal.
Yeah, and it was connected to Donkey Kong, so I'm sure this is going to be connected to Banjo. So.
Yeah, I have to say, I really love how the DKU is just ever expanding now. Like, not only are all of the old properties coming back, but more ones are branching off of them. We've got Ukulele, we've got Sea of Thieves, and I was thinking as well, like, how are we going to cover Rare Replay? Are all the games in it going to be part of the DKU? This
is a discussion we need to have as a staff.
Yeah, because. Does this mean we can make neon heads of all the characters from Rare Replay? We can have Jet Force Gemini characters as neon heads. Now I've said that idea, I realise there's probably going to be hundreds of people clamouring for it, and then someone's going to say no, and it's just going to be a massive war on the forum.
I'm not sure how we're going to address some of that. I do think that Rare Replay is going to be the very first game in a new branch of the Donkey Kong universe. And Chad and I kind of had a back and forth about this when we were out in LA, but I think Rare Replay is going to be the first general DKU Donkey Kong universe game. I think that's like the most sensible way to go about it. Chad might disagree, and this might not happen if we can't reach a consensus, but I think that makes sense. I also think we need to add a Rare discussion board on the forum right about Platonic, just to discuss all of the non-DKU Rare titles, since we're so overtly pro-Rare again. Not that we ever weren't pro-Rare, but now that it's become such a prominent part of our psyche again.
Yeah, I have to say that it's very strange. I don't know if has there ever been a collection before where like child-friendly, rated E for everyone games have been featured alongside mature adults only games. Because, like, you know, we've got both Banjos in this collection. We've got Conker. So I was kind of worried, is the whole collection going to be rated mature because of Conker?
It's actually rated, the rating is E through M. So
maybe there'll be some kind of parental controls thing in the game, so like you could stop your kids from playing games that are too high for...
I honestly think that this is not being marketed to kids. This is being marketed to people in their 20s and up who finally remember one or more of these games.
Well, let's be honest. We were all kids when we played Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that didn't mess up. That didn't mess us up that badly. Apart from the fact that I can't talk.
I don't know, Joe. I think you just proved their point. It's such a good time to be a Rare fan. I've got.
You might say it's never been a better time.
Never been a better time. Like I'm still. I talked about this with the episode I recorded with Chad last week. But I have my Rare pin from E3, and I've just been kind of clutching it, just like mindlessly holding it in my hand and kind of stroking the contours of it. Essentially,
if I had one of those babies, I would just pin it right through my nipple.
Yeah,
so I could wear it all the time.
Check your mail soon, Joe. Anyway. So what do you think about the new logo?
It's fantastic. It's better than the old logo, but you know, a picture of Gary Glitter vomiting on a child would be better than the old logo.
We actually talked with Craig Duncan. He said that was their first design, but unfortunately, Gary Glitter, his estate was charging too much to use his likeness, so they just went with a new version of the old classic.
Yeah, it really made me smile, actually, because I made a batch, because I became the news whore over E3.
You did, because Helmut couldn't do it this year. He was too busy getting drunk with us at E3.
Yeah, I made a special batch of all-purpose, we call them news planks, the little image that appears on the plank of wood on a news article on the main page.
Yes.
Basically, I made a new one of those has to be made for every new article, but I made a few, for basically various events that I thought might happen at this E3. And one of them was the jaggedy, pointy version of the old Rare logo from last year's TED Talks. Where it just started off like a spiky scroll, and then more and more cool, jaggedy spikes come out and make it even more edgy and down with the kids than it was before. And it's fantastic that in the end, I didn't have to use that one. I got to use one of Phil Spencer wearing a shirt with the new Rare logo on it. As he said, it's never been a better time to get an Xbox One.
Yeah. Did you know we actually found out like some backstory behind that Rare logo? It was actually the idea behind it, and I'm not sure how the hexagon ties into it, but they were going to change the logo every time they made a different genre of games. So the Kinect Sports games had this hexagon, but then if they were going to make a platformer, they would have a different kind of logo, and it would just change. I'm not really sure the 100% logic behind it, but there was apparently a logic behind it. Unfortunately, all they ever made was Kinect Sports games, and they were just stuck with the hexagon, and everybody hated it, so they just took it out back and shot it.
Yeah, and they probably took that throaty voice singer out back and shot her as well.
Wow, you sound like Chad did at E3. Rare, it's just such a great time to be a Rare fan. But Joe, tradition usually, the last 2 seasons of the Conversation, it seems like you sat in on the Nintendo episodes with us, and
that couldn't happen this year.
This year you were having technical difficulties. We were having trouble. We were 8 hours behind you. Being out in Los Angeles, and you were having computer problems, and other issues were cropping up. So
I joined a Skype call with what sounded like Batman and Lord Voldemort, saying, "Where's Joe? I can't hear him. I can't hear him either." And I was like, "Guys, I'm here. I'm right here." Then realised my microphone kept turning itself to mute, like at random times, and this was just one of the many STDs my computer had picked up. One of which was disabling my firewall, which meant the whole computer had to have its memory wiped and started from scratch, basically.
Oh no.
Yeah, not good. I forgot to back up my Sims neighborhood, so that's like 100 custom buildings lost.
Oh,
The
no.
whole town destroyed.
That's a catastrophe. That's like on par with 9/11. Just complete devastation.
Yeah. And it was like 9/11 if like the building caught fire and then all the people ran towards the fire and started going habba jabba habba jibba dabba habba wabba wabba habba jibba dabba instead of running away. And then they burned because they were standing next to the fire because they're idiots, and you tried cancelling the action, but they just wouldn't stop standing by the fire, and no one called the police. And then in the end, the Grim Reaper turned up.
I believe that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch the news footage of 9/11, but I'm pretty sure that sounds familiar. So yeah, we were going to get you on the Nintendo episode. It was going to be a Cameron at one point. We had to keep bumping him because it just the scheduling wasn't working out. Eventually, we just recorded it by ourselves. Not for lack of trying, but we're like, all right, we're going to get the whole staff on. The wrap up episode. So here we are. So Nintendo, I missed your insight immediately following the Nintendo reveals. So I'm kind of curious. What do you think about? We'll start with the DKU announcements. Which were few and far between, but we did get a big.
One, isn't it?
Well, there's Mario. There's the new Mario Tennis.
Mario Tennis Smash Tennis. Woo. Super Tennis.
There's a DKU deconfirmation in Star Fox, but of course the big one was Skylanders.
Skylanders, yeah.
What do you think about that? That's
right. I can't stress enough how excited I am about this, and I really, really love that this is happening. This is so cool.
So you're okay. So I think we're of a similar mind here because I am completely on board with this as well.
Yeah, it's because apart from Smash Brothers, and let's face it, Sakurai fucking hates Donkey Kong.
He doesn't hate Donkey Kong. He's apathetic to Donkey Kong. Kong, if Donkey Kong waxed his body, dropped about 500 pounds, and
grew
learned
some wavy blue hair.
Yeah, maybe learned how to. I don't know, wield a sword, took up fencing or something. And Sakurai would be a big Donkey Kong fan, but unfortunately, he's just not into bears. And
Anyway, apart from Smash Brothers, this is the first time Donkey Kong has made a cameo in a game to represent Donkey Kong Country, not to represent Mario. He's not here as a Mario character with mushrooms and pipes and shit.
He doesn't have pipes. He doesn't have pipes growing out of his ass in this.
It's just everything about his appearance in this. It's barrels, it's barrel cannons, it's TNT barrels, it's his bongos, it's Diddy and his jetpack and his
fucking
peanuts.
Diddy. Fucking
Diddy. Well, he's not fucking Diddy, but Diddy's there.
I don't know. I've never played Skylanders, so I'm leaving all options on the table.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like people have kind of seem to be a bit confused as what Skylanders is, and my best friend, the often mentioned other Matt, was kind of pissed off about this announcement because he was a big Spyro fan back in the day, and to him, Skylanders was basically the final nail in the coffin for his liking of the Spyro series. So
wait, is Skylanders the Spyro fans' Jungle Beat in bongo games?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, or maybe even their nuts and bolts, and it's a big change to the dynamic when they wanted more platformers, and then instead they got this weird thing that's.
Except the big difference here is that, unlike nuts and bolts in the bongo games, Skylanders sells. It sells really well.
It sells really well, yeah.
So they have no chance of getting their old franchise revived.
No. So I asked, do you reckon Spyro will pop up in this? He said, yeah, Spyro will most likely be in this game. He usually is. And I thought, isn't it awesome how many characters Donkey Kong has met, and how the DKU is just getting bigger and bigger, and that's just another series we can add to the list. We used to be Sony's poster boy, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Donkey Kong's shaking hands with all of them at this point.
I mean, at this point, because of Smash Brothers, because of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, because of Skylanders, really all video games basically share the same universe. Like it's makes the Donkey Kong universe a harder concept to grasp when we're just talking about like a very specific way of looking at things, a more conservative, traditional way of not in the
it's probably all part of the Saint Elsewhere universe as well, I imagine, at this point.
Oh yeah. When I say conservative and traditional, I don't mean in the Fox News. It wouldn't be great if the gays couldn't marry sense, but I mean, it just the like we're not like gonna start following Spyro and Skylanders that don't involve Donkey Kong. It just it has to have that it has to be birthed from the loins of Donkey Kong Country somehow for us to follow it. But it pretty much every video game under the sun is now connected in some way. So yeah,
absolutely. It's really cool, and it's annoying how a lot of fandoms will say non-canon, not canon, like with Smash Brothers. They go, it's just trophies. We go, no, it's all everything happened. Everything that we enjoyed happened.
Yeah, the more
everything
ridiculous
we didn't enjoy happened. Sadly.
The more ridiculous it is, the better. And there's certain caveats where that doesn't apply, but I think in this case, absolutely. Embrace it.
The brilliant story, was it you or Chad who came up with the brilliant story for Banjo in Minecraft, which is that he's finally looking for his long lost sister Tootie.
I think I suggested that. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. I think that's genius. That is.
Yeah, 2D ran off to Minecraft land, whatever the fuck that is.
She always wanted to go on an adventure, didn't she? Maybe Kazooie got so annoyed with her, she just shipped her off there.
What I really like about Skylanders too is how big of a deal Donkey Kong is in it. Essentially, the Wii U version, Donkey Kong is the star of Skylanders Superchargers.
Yeah, it's very odd, but I quite like it to see him wearing clothes. He's kind of. I would describe it as a kind of Evel Knievel kind of outfit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Still the tie. And the design as well, how it's very interesting to see a whole new team take on Donkey Kong's design. Yes, he's got the toothy grin, but I actually think for once they've kind of made it work.
Yeah, it works in degrees. If he has the right facial expression to match the toothy grin, then the toothy grin isn't really a problem. It's only when they focus on the grin and then don't really change his face, so it just looks like he's been like the victim of a Joker attack.
Yeah, we don't want a soulless, dead-eyed Mario Kart 8 Donkey Kong toothy grin.
Well, Mario Kart. Well, I think the worst toothy grin was Mario Kart DS because it was.
Oh God! I took a screenshot of that on Miiverse. There's one of the missions you have to reverse, which means the first thing you see when you start the mission is Donkey Kong's face made up of about 3 polygons, and one of those polygons is just his teeth.
It's awful. It's so
absolutely
awful.
Hideous. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love the clothes, and you said you'd like to see another company's take on Donkey Kong. I think that's why it's so respectful towards his history, because it's not Nintendo doing it. And whenever you get an outside company coming in and doing this, they're always going to revere it more than Nintendo proper in-house will. They strive for it to resonate with the fans, whereas Nintendo's like, it's good enough, whatever.
Yeah. It's just nice that there's just not a plumber in sight in this. Okay, yeah, there's Bowser, but no one has really made much of a fuss about Bowser, have they?
Well, it's because Bowser comes packaged with the Wii and 3DS versions, which are actually racing games, and it's not actually the platforming adventure that the Wii U version is. So
they still make games for the Wii.
In this case, they do. Yeah, Skylanders Superchargers. Skylanders Superchargers Racing is coming out for the Wii, and that's where Bowser is going to be packaged.
Jesus, I'd expect that from Kirby.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kirby's GameCube adventure will be coming out next year.
So people are asking me, are you going to start collecting Skylanders now? Because you're kind of a completionist. Well, I don't buy all the amiibos, do I? No, I only buy ones that I generally like that are Donkey Kong Universe related. So I'm not going to be buying all the Skylanders. I'll buy, of course, the package with Donkey Kong, and if there's any Skylanders I like that I'm like, oh, that's a cool character, I might pick it up, but right now I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, me too. If I see one that I think looks pretty cool, I'm going to buy that figurine, and you know what? I'm going to take it out of its packaging, and I'm going to use it, and I'm not going to sell it, and I'm not going to hoard it.
By the way, how cool is it that this is also an amiibo? So it's like automatically it becomes one of the most highest profile amiibos just by virtue of being part of Skylanders, which is
probably the most useful amiibo so far.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious if it's just going to be like regular Donkey Kong software. Had they said if it's just going to be like the same software as the regular Donkey Kong figure?
I have no idea.
Well, that's something we got to find out. I'm sure it's already been announced, but good luck finding stuff out about Nintendo on the E3 show floor, because they just have models and nobody's telling you anything.
Oh, so there was some kind of Nintendo representation physically at E3 then? It wasn't.
No,
just
they were all hired models. Like everybody else was hiding behind closed doors, or they were on a treehouse stage, but they didn't actually interact with you. No.
When you say models, I just feel like there's just like these fashionable women and dressed up as Samus, walking down a catwalk, striking poses, and then answering questions from the fans like, no, Crystal is not in the new Star Fox.
See, that would be better, but no, they just got moderately attractive women and a couple beefy dudes. They threw in a few token guys just to keep it, keep it politically correct. But yeah, for the most part, they were moderately attracted women designed to get nerds semi chubs and
Really?
Yeah, and then they give them talking points about the game, like, okay, here's how to show people how to play the game. Here's some basic talking points. But other than that, most of them knew nothing.
Oh, well, sex sells, I guess.
Yeah, and meanwhile, as we said time and again, about 50 feet over at the Rare booth, Robin Beanland was talking about Rare Replay. So it was just night and day as far as the actual physical E3 experience. Yeah, like Rare was actually present on the show floor talking with fans and not hiding whatsoever. So
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you mentioned Crystal and Star Fox. I think this is a good point. You've made many the Crystal joke in your time on the Kongversation. So what do you think about this reboot, not a reboot, prequel, not a prequel, remake, whatever?
Well, for starters, I can't believe people are losing their shit over that. Who gives a shit about the story? It's a Star Fox game, spaceships, vroom vroom, blam blam.
Yeah, but I mean, the last three main Star Fox games have told a continuous story.
Ah, okay.
And starting with Star Fox Adventures, they progressed the timeline, characters aged.
I guess maybe
shit happened.
I guess maybe because I'm thinking about the rest of Nintendo, which nothing ever happens ever to change the storyline. So it just seems alien to me, a Nintendo series with plot developments and whatnot.
Even Zelda is at least trying to maintain a stable continuity at this point. It's. I think it's Miyamoto who doesn't give a shit. Miyamoto and some of his colleagues from his era are the ones that don't care, but I think the younger guys in Nintendo definitely do care about story. It's just, unfortunately, their influence isn't as great as Miyamoto's yet, so it's going to take another decade and a half before we kind of shake free this story doesn't matter. It's just all about basic core gameplay.
Yeah. Well, okay, I apologize. If I came off as dismissive there, it's just
no.
It's not what I'm saying. Star Fox does have a good story. It just seems baffling to me that a Nintendo game would be focused around story to such a degree that people are beating their heads against the wall, going, "How does this fit into canon? How?"
Well, and I think especially the Star Fox fans on DK Vine, where we really do care about everything that happened after Star Fox 64. We're the only ones who don't want Star Fox 64 to be remade time and time again. So for us, it's kind of disheartening to see like the generally interesting story that kept evolving after Adventures being chucked out the window just so they can remake the same damn game they've already remade multiple times.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know Nintendo to be the sort to remake the same game over and over again.
Right. Yes, the Star Fox Zero and Mario Maker were the big games at this E3, so there you go.
Yeah, but anyway, this Star Fox Zero actually did look quite intriguing, and I actually kind of felt, yeah, I might get that. It looks quite fun.
Have you seen the video of Chad playing it?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I saw most of the videos that you guys posted. I saw the one where you fell down singing the DK rap.
Yeah, that was not us playing Star Fox, just to be clear. If you thought, wow, Star Fox looks great, we were not actually playing the game then. That was just us rolling around on sidewalks.
I wanted to bring that up. Did you actually faint, or did you just fall down for comic effect? Because that it made me laugh because it reminded me of an occasion when I was visiting some neighbours across the hall from me just before bedtime. Matt was tired and wanted to go to bed. He was staying around my place. And I was just faffing about for ages, chatting about this and that, blah, 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 blah. And when I came out of the door, I discovered that Matt had pretended to pass out on the floor.
It was put on. Basically, we were walking back. This was on the second day of the show floor, so this was Wednesday. We were walking back from the convention center. It was a 40-minute walk from the convention center to where we were staying.
Oh, boy.
And the heat was overbearing. At that point, it was just oppressively hot. And so I felt like I had to pass out. I was feeling nauseous. I was like, I have to get off my feet. And then Chad and I just started doing this thing completely like improv where we were just singing like songs. And then we started singing the DK rap and we were just butchering it on purpose. And then I was like, we should really be filming this. And then so Chad got out his camera. And at that point, I felt like I had to pass out. So I just went for it.
So it wasn't done for comic effect, but it was kind of done on purpose.
It was for comic effect, but I just embraced the way I was feeling. So I let myself fall on the sidewalk, yeah.
I've fallen, and I choose not to get up.
Yeah, and then I had, like dirt on my arm the rest of the night. I kept finding, like, new pieces of gravel that had somehow embedded itself into my skin.
That's unfortunate.
So... yeah. Anyway, that's the story behind that video. Star Fox. It's worth your while to watch Chad playing it because it definitely just looks like Star Fox 64, only slightly remixed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like even kind of the weird way the characters' heads move when they talk reminds me of the old Star Fox. Like, they kind of tilt back a bit, almost like puppets, like hand puppets.
Yeah,
it just made me think that looks just like the old Star Fox.
Well, that's appropriate considering Miyamoto made the Star Fox puppets for the original game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like to me, it's watching the footage. It's just, I kind of remember this bit from Star Fox 64. It's slightly different now. And it's just a lot of that, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm really not that interested in playing this. Yeah, and I'm sure it's gonna be fun. I'm sure it's gonna be great. I'm just bitching because I'm a fan of story and world building, and this is a game that's not gonna really provide that. So whatever.
Yeah, I've got no experience at all with Star Fox, really. I barely touched Star Fox Adventures. I will play it. I'll sit down and play it properly. I've just been distracted by nuts and bolts.
Star Fox Adventures, it's a game that if you can get past the initial introductory phase where everything is just like slow moving, it gets really fun, and it's a fun game. It's not like on par with Zelda, but it's definitely charming.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I assume we don't have anything to say about Mario Tennis. It's a Mario Tennis game.
Absolutely nothing to say about that. I press A in time to hit the ball, otherwise I'll lose.
What I'll say about that is I hope they include some tropical freeze elements because Camelot's good about that, but all we've seen from the Cameo games are returns references. I would like to get some tropical freeze stuff in there. At the very least, it's time to get Dixie in these games. So
yeah. Like up till say Smash Brothers, the excuse has kind of been it's just too recent and there hasn't been enough communication between Japan and Retro Studios to use their assets and all that. Like the stuff that was used in Smash Brothers, I think Cameron said that all the Tropical Freeze references in Smash Brothers 4 were from the E3 when it was announced or something like that. So
really?
Yeah, so they must have just had like a press kit. It must have just worked from the press kit when they were making trophies and stuff. And they had like a couple of snippets of music and 500 remixes of DK Island Swing as per usual.
Yeah.
And that just made sense to me because if they had the whole of Tropical Freeze, I would have thought surely even someone as cold-hearted and and evil and cruel as Sakurai would have had a Tropical Freeze themed level in the game.
Nope. But speaking of Sakurai, what do you think about the Smash Brothers DLC announcements made on Sunday?
Is this Ryu and
Roy?
Oh,
yeah.
Roy. So there's two Roys in the game.
Yeah, 2 Roys. But this is the Roy that everybody this is the Roy that apparently Japan was clamoring for. They were like lining up on the streets, having riots, saying we want Roy from Fire Emblem. We mean that Roy, not the other Roy. It baffles me that Roy is a DLC character because he's such a nothing character in my eyes. But
all we can hope for is that he'll sell badly, because we've already got far too many, pretty boy swordsmen in the fucking game as it is.
Sakurai's a man who knows what he likes. He likes fey, pretty men who have long phallic objects in their hands.
And my hope for K. Rool has completely dwindled because, okay, we've had Ryu, which is completely original, but everything else, Lucas, Ness clone, Mewtwo, Lucario clone, Roy, fucking Marth clone. They're not going to make K. Rool because he would have to be a completely new character.
To be fair to Sakurai, he did say that all these characters that have come out as DLC were in the works before the fan ballot. I'm not worried there. What I am worried about is Sakurai will see the demand for K. Rool and choose to ignore it because K. Rool means nothing to him.
Yeah, and with Smash Brothers, it really does look like a game where all the money was blown on just being super OCD and getting all of the stats just right for every single character. And just like, all right, we'll sod the fucking background budget. We'll just either reuse old GameCube stages and do nothing to improve the graphics, or copy-paste graphics from current games, like Mario Kart 8. We'll just take the graphics from the game. This game doesn't have its own visual identity at all. It's just a Frankenstein of resources from other games. What's important is we make sure all the characters are perfectly balanced, and you blow all the money on that. That's what seems to have been the design philosophy for Smash 4. And it is fun, but fucking hell is it ugly and dull to look at.
We've had so many rows about Smash Brothers on this show. I mean, oh my God, for almost a year now. I mean, you came in right at the start of all of the Smash hysteria when Chad took his sabbatical last year. So you were my partner in crime during that era of the conversation. But so I don't really want to harp on it too much. But I will say though that that's a good point that. I don't like how so many of the stages in the new Smash Brothers, I liked how in Melee and even the N64 game to an extent, they would take like classic archetypes from games and redo them in the Smash Brothers style.
Yeah.
Where now it's just we're gonna have a retro stage and it's gonna be the sprites from the NES. And
that's the other thing as well. They'll just use a retro stage that looks exactly like what the original game did. Flat. So many flat zones now. I remember when Flat Zone was a gimmick, when the characters being flat inside a giant Game & Watch was amazing. It was a one-off thing, and now it's half the game.
Yeah, it's no longer like an immersive experience where your favorite Nintendo worlds come to life in new ways. It's, I remember this bit from that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. But that's Smash. But I at the very least, I would love to see K. Rool in it. It's not going to change my opinion on the game whatsoever. I'm already firmly sick of Smash Brothers 4, but it's good for K. Rool. It's good for Donkey Kong. I want to see it happen, absolutely. And I'll buy the hell out of it and tell everybody to buy the DLC. So,
I guess we haven't talked about the possibility of Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong appearing in Super Mario Maker.
Well, we know that costumes appear, and they said that's all they are, that they're power-ups that you can use your amiibo with, and you can become basically Super Mario takes on the visage of this character. So it showed him running around as Link, as Bowser, as other characters.
Yeah.
So
I've got a feeling the Kongs aren't going to be in it. Do you know why?
Why?
Because when I was a teenager, I used to play around doing sprite art a lot. Well, the pixel art, whatever, but I just liked playing around with video game sprites. And one thing I noticed was that Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are so huge and so detailed, you couldn't compress all of that to the size of like the Super Mario Bros. 1 graphics. It would either be a brown blob that you just wouldn't be able to make out any detail, or they'd have to be scaled up considerably. And
they're gonna look like the swatches on our new logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've often said looks like your character looks like in Monkey Island when you're on a map screen. It's just 3 pixels stacked on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like Minecraft, actually.
Yeah, Minecraft.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I'm not worried about Mario Maker. There's no way that's going to be DKU. There's going to be a Donkey Kong and possibly a Diddy Kong reference, but that's about it.
Yeah, it'd be Donkey Kong Arcade, if anything, won't it?
Yeah, that would be interesting if, like, Mario became, like, the arcade NES, like, Cranky Kong instead of the actual Donkey Kong amiibo. If that's the case, wouldn't, like, Cranky must find that to be the most insulting thing to have Mario. It would basically be like blackface, you know? He's dressing up and mocking something he hates.
Oh dear, I don't think I can top that, so I'll just laugh. Well done.
I don't mean any like historical comparisons with gorillas. I wasn't going that far. I was just saying. I wasn't going that old school racist with it. I was just saying, you know, blackface as a way to demean those that you hate. Anyway, so moving on. So that about does it for Nintendo's DKU showings. But was there anything else that caught your fancy?
I'm trying to think. I like the Blind Girl game. That looked nifty.
Oh yeah, over at Microsoft. Yeah.
No. I know what I really loved. Cuphead.
Yeah.
I looked at it like, well, as an animator of myself, seeing a video game made to look like a 1930s cartoon, I practically spunked. I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just as fluid as those old cartoons are, and just as full of life and energy, and just makes you smile just looking at it because it's so charming. It's amazing.
And Cuphead, you know how like tough I am to get excited about anything that's not Donkey Kong Universe, but Cuphead for me was definitely charming. It looked like it was a must-play game. So
it reminds me of Donkey Kong Country, actually.
It not in aesthetic, but maybe in personality, in like
level design, in the fact that, you know, that like kind of boss battles where you've kind of got to memorize their patterns and then defeat them in a certain way. You know, like the boss battles I thought reminded me of Donkey Kong boss battles.
Yeah.
There was even a beehive level which looked like the beehives in Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The Blind Girl game, which it's a shame we don't actually know the title of it. We just been calling it the Blind Girl game.
Beyond Eyes.
And Cuphead. Those were two highlights for me. There's really nothing from Nintendo that really caught my interest at all, other than what we've talked about. And I might even pick up Mario Maker if I'm really bored and I have some extra money, but it's not going to be a priority anytime soon.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to charge full price for it, like £40 in the UK. I don't know what a new game. I guess $50 in the US for, like, say, a brand new proper.
Usually it's $49.99 or $59.99.
Yeah, and I bought Captain Toad thinking, well, there must be something in this game that makes it worth that price, and I played it, and it was like, I felt like Michael Bluth opening the bag that said "Dead Dove, do not eat." I was just like, oh, I don't know what I expected.
Which is really wild. I mean, I don't know what they're pricing Mario Maker at, but Rare Replay is $30. Like, that's a must buy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's even cheap. That means in the UK it's going to be like 25 quid. It's just really, really cheap for these games, which, like I said, are just worth more than gold and oil and children.
And hell, like I said, the bonus features alone are worth it, even if they didn't have the games with it, you know? It's
like an amazing DVD box set. See, like, because I don't do DVDs. I chucked all my DVDs away, the ones that are just vanilla releases, because it's just quicker to go online and pirate it.
They don't, besides like Criterion, they don't really have DVD special features anymore, and that's, you would think that would be the main draw to get people to buy DVDs over streaming or piracy.
Well, but they're also not HD. Blu-ray players are bloody expensive. You could just stream an HD version illegally online so much quicker than reaching up to that shelf with all the DVDs on it and taking the disc out and putting it in the drive. I'm a lazy man who breaks the law to assist his laziness. I was going to say as well, I only keep the DVDs that have got fantastic special features on, like for instance, Red Dwarf, which is blimey, it's kind of like almost like the Red Dwarf fandom is kind of like the DK Vine of British sitcoms in terms of
Oh no.
no, in terms of just like how the sense of humor and how obsessed they are with like this charming, comedic yet surprisingly deep series. You know,
I thought you meant weird political debates about the Confederate flag.
No. It's not really anything political with that lot. I guess my tastes generally just lean towards comedy that's kind of quirky yet surprisingly deep. I like deep comedy, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
well,
sorry.
what's deeper than Mr. Pants, you know? Or maybe I should say what's deeper than Mrs. Pie.
Hey, lads.
Hey, lads.
Or should I go for
indeed.
innuendo? I don't. We should get those keyboards that DJs have, so you can just press a button and it'll make a sound effect.
Yeah. Then
Innuendo.
Then
Where's
the-
Sam?
the full transition into us being a wacky early morning AM radio show would be complete. Again, like so spilling it all out, where would you rank this E3?
Couldn't really number. I would say best one we've had in a while.
Definitely better than last year.
Definitely better last year, obviously. The one when we got Tropical Freeze. Did we get anything else that year? Or was it just Tropical Freeze?
That's all that matters is Tropical Freeze.
That's all that mattered, really, wasn't it? I think maybe because we know that the beloved company that gave us the majority of the games that we worship here on DK Vine is now back and is no longer, have their balls in so firmly squeezed by Bill Gates as he bathes in a bathtub full of blood and money. And Greg Mills like, let go of my balls, please.
I like how we always go after Bill Gates when he really has nothing to do with Microsoft anymore. Like as if Bill Gates is responsible for everything that happens.
Oh yeah, he's just the Miyamoto of Microsoft, basically.
He's not. Yeah, he's just like a board member at this point. You know.
Bill Gates was thinking, "Oh, Greg Mail's balls. I could use these for the best bowling game ever." And then he finally released Rare, and Rare made the best comeback I think Rare have made the biggest comeback I've seen from a video gaming company. So,
well,
I would say this is probably one of the best E3s that we've had on DK Vine, just because it's kickstarted a new era, just like Returns did.
I would say it's in the top 3. I would say 2001 for all the unfulfilled promise. That was kind of like the last. That was the last like gasp of air of the glory days.
Yeah.
And 2010 was the return. This is us firmly like everything is exploding this year in this new era we're in. This is the year where everything returns, not just Donkey Kong.
Yeah. What's your name for the era before the buyout era?
The spin-off era.
Spin-off era, yeah. So like the spin-off era is kind of the golden age. So that was kind of the end of that as I see what you mean. End of the spin-off era, start of the Returns era, and start of the Rare Naissance, which is
Rare Naissance, yes.
It's even more awkward for me to say than for Chad to say. He should be grateful.
All right, well, Joe, I promise we'll try to get you on the show really soon so you can talk about this Donkey Kong Country related date you went on.
I've hyped it up too much now. It's just going to disappoint everyone, especially if Matt's reaction is anything to go by. Mind you, Matt could be a grumpy old sod sometimes. So.
Yeah. I really hope this involves like riding wild animals and maybe going into a mine shaft. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it could be Donkey Kong Country related, so I'm very curious to see.
Basically, Bournemouth got invaded by a bunch of penguins and this giant walrus. Oh shit! I'm giving it away. Sorry. Wait till next time.
Wait till next time. All right. Thanks, Joe.
No worries. See you later.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe. And
Thanks, Joe. That sounded like you guys definitely had a good time that I've definitely heard before saying these words.
Well, anyway, that was E3 2015. Wow, what a time, right?
What a swinging time it was.
Yeah, it was. No, it was like I asked Joe this. I want your opinion. Out of the pantheon of E3s, E3 2000, E3 or was it E3 2001? E3 2001. The Donkey Kong Racing E3.
Yep.
2010 Donkey Kong Country Returns. 2013 Tropical Freeze. Out of all of the E3s, where would this one rank?
Nope, number 1.
For us, because we were out there. But I mean, objectively, where do you think it would rank?
I can't really say that. It's maybe with the benefit of time, I can look back, but to me, this E3 is so ingrained in my memory as something that I experienced that I can't divorce it from that experience in a way that I can stack it up against those great ones that I've watched from afar. So I'm just gonna have to say, yeah, 2001 was great, 2010 was fantastic, but this is one that is more meaningful to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Than any other E3 could ever come close to. Honestly, I was getting sick of E3 before this one came around.
Oh, were you? Well,
yeah,
so Matt's apathetic. Cameron doesn't care.
It's just the grind of everything. We pull out all the stops at DK Vine every E3, and the grind of doing that for severely diminished returns just started wearing me down. But actually realizing that, hey, we have a legitimate reason to go there and participate in this thing has really rejuvenated my whole concept of the show. And to have it happen on a year when Rare was actually relaunching their studio in the minds of the public in such a way that keys in to what made me fall in love with the studio in the first place, the timing just lined up so perfectly that I can't think of any other E3 even coming close.
Yeah,
for me.
For me, like 2010 was an emotional E3 because it brought me back to DK Vine. It brought me back to this ridiculous fandom, and I'm never going away again. So it was kind of just a big turning point in my life. But this one is probably the culmination of everything that's happened since then, and it's the payoff. And I this is my favorite E3, bar none. And I will never forget it. Like, I don't know if this one can ever be topped.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here, folks.
Yep. This is the peak. This is.
It'll never get better than this episode.
Nothing but disappointment from here on out. So stay tuned to the Kongversation, because starting next week, we will be taking your calls again. We will be still processing what we learned about this E3. And, of course, we have to debate Mr. Kevin Callahan.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.
Rub-a-dub-a-do, rub-a-dub-a-do, rub-a-dub-a-day, it's rare replay. Rub-a-dub-a-day, hooray, rub-a-dub-a-day, it's rare replay. Rub-a-dub-a-day, oh bloody hell, look at all them games.